Welcome to Manufacturing Day, Missouri 2020. I'm Brian Krause. I'm the Vice President of the Missouri Chamber Manufacturing Alliance, and I'll be your host for today's Missouri Manufacturing Day. Welcome. We have a full slate of manufacturers from around the state of Missouri that are going to showcase the best and the brightest of what they produce and the talent that helps them produce it day in and day out. From Kawasaki in Maryville to Emerson in Lebanon to Pfizer in St. Louis and everywhere in between. We're zooming in from around the state, these manufacturing leaders, to talk to you in your classroom and at home to learn about what's exciting about manufacturing and why it has so many good career pathways. We're going to start off our first hour with Kohler Enterprise and G3 Boats. You'll find out how all those headlights that you see on the roadways in cars are produced, or how a pontoon boat or a bass tracker is produced in Lebanon, Missouri. Next, I'd like to start our program with our president and CEO, Dan Meehan of the Missouri Chamber of Commerce. Dan has been a champion for Manufacturing Day since we began this in 2015. With that, I'll step aside and let Dan come in.
Brian, thanks so much. And I'd like to just welcome all of you to Manufacturing Day. This is on the first Friday of every October across the country, we celebrate the manufacturing sector in the entire nation. We do that for the state of Missouri. Usually we are fanning out across the state into facilities, manufacturers, and factories all around Missouri and inviting people like you, students from around the state, in to see the careers that are available and the opportunities that exist within the manufacturing sector. It's a vibrant, growing sector, as you'll see, and we're excited to bring it to you virtually this year. Obviously, we had to do it differently instead of in person, but we hope you enjoy the day. First of all, I'd like to list the sponsors that make this possible. The event is sponsored by BKD, CPAs and Advisors. Our gold sponsors are Toyota Missouri and Walmart. Our silver sponsors are Nike Air, Manufacturing Innovations, and State Tech in Lynn. Supporter sponsors include Catalent, the Missouri Chamber Benefit Plan, the Lebanon Regional Economic Development Incorporated, the St. Louis chapter of National Tooling and Machining Associations, the Boeing Center for Supply Chain Innovation at Washington University in St. Louis, and Watlow. We'd also like to thank the following organizations that help us create and promote today's event. The Manufacturing Institute at the National Association of Manufacturers helps us, Missouri Enterprise, and the Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. So thanks to all those people that make this possible. So you may ask, why are we celebrating manufacturing? And the answer is pretty simple. Manufacturing is growing. There's great opportunities throughout the sector in the state of Missouri. We are makers and builders in the state of Missouri. And what you'll see is that manufacturing is advanced and very impressive. It's not smokestacks and rust, but there are great careers for you to consider in the manufacturing sector. By the numbers, Missouri has over 270,000 manufacturing jobs. Within the next 10 years across the country, there will be 5 million new jobs created in manufacturing. So it's a growing sector. The average salary in Missouri is over $60,000 per year, and that's pretty darn good. You'll see this is innovative and high tech. We're really happy. Brian mentioned a couple of the companies we're going to showcase, including Kohler Enterprises, which Kohler has a great story to tell. I don't want to steal their thunder, but they're a manufacturer, but they shifted to try to help out in the pandemic to produce personal protection equipment. You'll see that story in just a minute. And then we're really excited to have the president of Emerson, Mike Train, address us today. Emerson is a worldwide company headquartered in St. Louis, Missouri, and we're very proud to have them along. So you are the next generation of Missouri makers. I encourage you to take a serious look at this sector for a career move. Engage today. Please talk to the manufacturers that you're going to hear from. Ask them questions. Don't be bashful. But check out manufacturing as a career. And welcome again to all of you 10,000 people from across the state of Missouri. and we look forward to taking you through the day. And I'm going to kick it back to Brian to introduce the next segment. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Dan. It's always great to have you a part of Manufacturing Day. We started this in 2015. We went to Toyota in Lincoln County in Troy, Missouri, with our partners there at the Troy Chamber of Commerce for our very first Manufacturing Day. It was exciting. We got to see how the motor heads for all the North American Toyota manufactured cars are produced right there in Troy. And now we're here with you today, live, virtual, through Zoom and Facebook. Please make sure throughout the day that if you have questions directed to any of the manufacturers, you put it in the comment Q&A box, or if you're on Facebook Live, if you put it in the comment section. We'll try and pull as many of those questions as possible throughout the day. And thank you so much for being here. It's great to have everyone Zooming in from around the state. We have students from as far away as Cassville, from Jennings, Missouri, from Maryville, Kirksville, and everywhere in between. Now, I'd like to invite one of those key partners that Dan mentioned at Missouri Enterprise. Dusty Cruz is the CEO and president of Missouri Enterprise. Missouri Enterprise is Missouri's NIST MEP state affiliate. They provide resources and help to our manufacturers so they can upskill, change their production to make it better, and provide them a better trajectory for what they want to do with their manufactured product. We're going to go ahead and zoom into Rolla, Missouri to visit with Dusty. Dusty, you have the shop floor, and welcome to Manufacturing Day 2020.
Great. Thank you, Brian, for that, and thank you, Dan, for the statistics that you provided earlier. And good morning, everyone, and thanks for participating in Manufacturing Day this year. As Brian said, I lead a consulting organization in Missouri that focuses on helping manufacturers be successful. We're part of a larger manufacturing consulting organization in the United States that's solely focused on small to mid-sized manufacturers. It's a national network of over 1,400 manufacturing professionals. So I'll have to say, in the last 44 years of working in manufacturing, I've never seen the interest in manufacturing like it is today. If this is your first time to be involved in Manufacturing Day, I'm sure from today's events, I assure you that you'll want to participate next year to learn even more. Or perhaps by this time next year, you'll be actually in the manufacturing field, who knows. Today's agenda, as Dan had said, includes a real great cross-section of manufacturers that's lined up that will provide you just a small glimpse of what manufacturing looks like in today's modern world. It's certainly changed over the last several decades. Many of you, perhaps most of you, will probably be shocked to learn that what you may have interest in being in the future is exactly what manufacturers are looking to hire and need today. So today you'll see many highly skilled jobs in action, many of which will require technical skills to program and make parts and assemblies. You'll see it's very exciting, it's very clean, it's safe, and as Brian and Dan had said earlier, and most importantly, you should know that manufacturing provides a financially rewarding career. We see the results of manufacturers everywhere. Almost everywhere you touch and everything that you feel is a result of a manufacturer being involved. It's the clothes that you're wearing, it's the cell phone that you use, it's cars, airplanes, it's toys, it's desks that you're setting in, it's everything in your home, every place you look. Something, those are all very obvious. But let's not forget food. All that comes from a manufacturer somewhere. Every transport you see going down the road has a load from a manufacturer. The road that the transport drives on, the paint, the signs, the placards, the construction equipment to make the roads, they're all tied to manufacturers somewhere. And then let's not forget everything that's stocked in department stores or everything that you buy on Amazon. Virtually everything, anywhere, is somehow tied to manufacturing. And like I said today, you'll be surprised with what you see. But before we begin today, you need to know something. Regardless of the path that you take after high school, manufacturers have positions that include the skills that go well beyond the shop floor. As glamorous as it is to be employed on the shop floor, but manufacturers need other skills that you may not realize. They need accountants, lawyers, engineers, designers, manufacturing professionals need marketing professionals, data analysts, those that have extreme skills in leadership and communication. The list is just almost endless. And though manufacturing has advanced so much in the last several decades, you need to know that we're really entering a new era in manufacturing. Indeed, it's really a new industry revolution. It's called Industry 4.0. It includes automation and robotics. There's a tremendous demand for those with expertise and skills in cybersecurity, cloud computing, additive manufacturing, those that can work with big data, and those that can construct simulations based on plans. There's just a tremendous amount of skills that's needed in manufacturing. So let me say this. If you're a person that has wild and crazy ideas, manufacturing needs you. If you have interest in putting those kind of crazy, wild ideas to work, manufacturing needs you too. If you have interest in physically making those crazy, wild ideas, you'll see today that, and to make those come to life, you'll see today manufacturing needs you. Manufacturing needs innovation. Innovation is what makes manufacturing really work. To sum it up, manufacturing needs youth, and that's YOUTH. They need you. They need a fresh look. They need innovative minds. And if you accept this challenge, you'll find that this career is very rewarding and the benefits are priceless. So lastly, let me say this. What I hope you see today will inspire you to look at how you might fit into this amazing world of manufacturing. So I hope you enjoy today, and thank you for giving me a little bit of your time. Brian?
Thank you so much, Dusty. It's great to have you as a partner in this effort. And, you hit on so many key aspects. These students before you are the innovators, the thinkers, the dreamers of tomorrow, and they are our makers. The more and more I go into classrooms around the state of Missouri, as I'm sure you do as well, you see the innovative minds that are there and how they want to create tomorrow's future better than what it is today. And so great points on that. And really, when you think about Industry 4.0, as you had mentioned, it is really all about where they have the critical skill sets, digital capabilities, understanding how the internet and technologies intersect and work. Those are so critical to where Industry 4.0 is headed. So great to have Missouri Enterprise here and joining us live for this Manufacturing Day event 2020. We're great to have the support, and we look forward to seeing you around the state as we work with you to enhance Missouri's manufacturing production capabilities and to showcase the best of what manufacturers in Missouri do. Now, I'd like to point out a few logistics. Throughout our program, there's a Q&A feature in your Zoom. If you'd like to put any questions in to our manufacturers, our speakers today, please do so. We'll try to get to those as best we can and answer them. And for some of you, we'll try and Zoom you in so you can visit live with these manufacturers that you'll see before you. If you're watching through Facebook, please put it in the comment box. We'll accept any questions there. We'll be watching that and we'll try to get to those as soon as possible. Now, it is really my distinct pleasure to introduce our next speaker coming to us virtually, our 57th governor, Mike Parson, governor of the state of Missouri. Welcome, Governor. We're glad to have you as a virtual guest today, and we thank you for all that you do to help Missouri manufacturers and our students succeed.
Hi, I'm Governor Mike Parson. I'd like to welcome the thousands of students we have joining us today for Manufacturing Day. Missourians should be very proud of our state's manufacturing industry. Some of the world's most impressive factories are right here in the Show Me State. Today, you're going to see inside many of those factories and learn about the kinds of careers available in our manufacturing industry. Typically, Manufacturing Day means many of you would be taking a field trip to visit the factories in your town and see things firsthand. But this year, we're going to do it virtually. I'd like to thank the Missouri Chamber Manufacturing Alliance for organizing this event and keeping our Manufacturing Day momentum going. This event is very important because there are 270,000 jobs in manufacturing in Missouri, and that number is growing. These employees work at more than 6,000 factories across our state. There are things being made in Missouri right now that you might not have ever thought of, and I think some of what you will see today will surprise and inspire you. I also want to thank our manufacturers on the front line of our fight against COVID-19. When the virus came to Missouri, our manufacturing industry, including companies like Kohler Kraft, quickly switched gears and began producing protective equipment for our healthcare workers and our frontline employees. Our factories played a big role in keeping Missourians safe this year, and it could get even bigger. There's a good chance that when the coronavirus vaccine is finally ready, and it could be manufactured at Pfizer right here in Missouri. I hope what you see today helps inspire you to pursue a career in this growing high-tech, good-paying industry, and we are very proud of our manufacturing industry here in Missouri. May God bless you, may God bless the great state of Missouri, and may God bless the United States of America.
Thank you, Governor Parson. It's great to have your words of wisdom and to kick off our Manufacturing Day event here on Friday, October 2nd. Thank you. Governor Parson, our 57th governor of the state of Missouri, and he has been key on two critical efforts that impact Missouri's manufacturers: infrastructure and workforce. With those two key pieces, it can drive Missouri forward for many years to come. We just need to all rally behind that. Thank you, Governor Parson, for your words in opening up our Manufacturing Day 2020. Next, we're going to show a video by one of our best and brightest manufacturers that you've heard a couple times, Kohler Craft, located in Fenton, Missouri. Kohler Craft is an OEM light component manufacturer, but they also manufacture acrylic fish tanks, as well as what Dan and Governor Parson had referenced, PPE, during the COVID. We're going to hear a little bit about their story. We're going to watch a video, and then we'll have Pat Mahone, the general manager for Kohler Craft, come on board and speak to you live. Let's hear that video.
So again, this is our tool room. So the guys are kind of doing preventive maintenance or any repairs to these tools. They may have to polish a tool. They may want to clean the parting lines. Right, you see the thing he has in his hand right there, that's a dry ice clean. We buy about 330 pounds of dry ice a week, and then we can use that dry ice to blast the surface of the mold. That keeps the mold clean, removes any gas buildup, any extra plastic that shouldn't be there. So over here we have smaller machines, so the parts are going to be smaller, but I can show you this robot that we use, which is kind of nice. So this job pretty much runs 5 days a week, 24 hours a day, and we used to have an operator that would stand here every day, pick those parts up, and place them in that tote. Okay, but we were able to invest in this robot and this conveyor. All said and done, you probably got $60,000 worth of automation right here. But what's happening is as the parts come down that conveyor, the camera is taking a picture of where those parts are. So now the robot knows exactly where that location is, and then the robot is going to pick up that part, place it in that tote. But that robot is also communicating with this slip sheet system over here. So once that layer of the tote is complete, it's going to tell this slip sheet conveyor to pick up a piece of cardboard, place it in there, and then it can start the second layer, the third layer, the fourth layer, so that entire tote is full. Once that tote is full, again, the robot will send a signal, and then the conveyor will index this way, and then the tote will just roll down here. So we used to have an operator here 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, but with this automation, we don't have to do that anymore. All we have to do is come by and restock the station every couple of hours. Plus, our employees are going to 100% inspect the top layer of every coat to make sure that there wasn't any quality problems. Now, as you'll see, all of our employees are usually wearing some type of mask, obviously because of the COVID situation. Wherever we can be 6 feet apart, though, if an employee is by their workstation by themselves, they don't have to wear that mask. You probably noticed the mask that I'm wearing. This is a new product that we just developed. It's not really for COVID. However, it could be used in COVID applications, but it's more for the hearing impaired industry where people are able to read their lips. This is an example of the plastic resin. In this particular case, this is regrind, where we have made some bad parts and we were able to grind that up and reuse it. When we normally buy the resin, and I'll try to show you some, it's in little tiny pellets. But in this case, we ground it up ourselves and are going to reuse this back in at about 10%. The automotive industry typically doesn't want more than 10% regrind going into their product. So this is an example of the resin that we buy. So it's the little tiny pellets like this. So again, this is for that clear lens. And again, we're going to melt it in that injection molding machine and then inject it into the mold. So this is a new work cell for us. It's called a sputtering machine, where we're actually going to take aluminum and deposit that aluminum onto the surface of the plastic part. That way, when you look at the headlamps and taillights on cars, you're going to see that aluminum reflective surface. Almost looks like chrome, but it's not. It's aluminum that is deposited onto the plastic parts. So this is what the part looked like when we molded it over there on the injection molding machines. After we put it into the metalizer, we will deposit that aluminum onto the plastic surface of the part, and it'll look like this. Now over here, we have kind of a mask building operation. We started building these masks when the whole COVID thing came out. You know, we have a different division, Scientific Lighting Products in Sullivan, Missouri, that's able to buy flat sheet and then cut it on their laser cutter. So then we cut it into a specific shape, and then we use foam and these rubber bands to create a face shield that the medical industry can use, okay? So in the very beginning, we were donating this to, you know, all the first responders because there was such a shortage on PPE. So I think we donated over 12,000 face shields to the medical industry to help do our part. So this is kind of a neat story. If you look at this machine right here, this was the very first press that was purchased and started producing parts back in the 40s. Okay, so this is the machine, one of the machines that started Kohler Kraft Plastics, and so they kind of like to keep this machine here to kind of show us where we started. And then we're going to go through these curtains right here. Okay, so this is our finished goods warehouse. We have 5 dock doors here for the product that's going out. So as I said earlier, everything comes in on the receiving dock, goes through the manufacturing process, and ends up here. But we have about 14 to 15 operators on first shift, second shift, and third shift. But then there's a lot of support personnel you need, whether it's the material handlers, the fork truck drivers, the lead operators, the supervisors, the setup crew, that are the people that take the molds in and out of the presses. So there's a lot more that goes on than just the operator running the machine. So our operators are making $15 an hour, which is a pretty good wage for an entry-level position. But after you get through that entry-level position, you have the opportunity to make more money, whether it's because you're driving the fork truck, or whether you're working in that setup department, or, you know, if you're skilled, you can move into our maintenance department. If you have other skills, you can move into our tooling department. So there really is an opportunity to make quite a bit more money. You know, some of those people, you know, the entry-level position at 15, but then some people are making, you know, $22 an hour up to, you know, in the mid-30s per hour. So there's definitely a lot of opportunities to get your foot in the door at the entry-level position, and as you learn more skills, and you can move up into these higher level positions and make more money.
Wow, exciting to see inside Kohler Craft and how the magic is made. I was in that factory about a year ago and had a chance to visit with Pat and with Al Kohler. Al is actually our chairman of the board for the Missouri Chamber of Commerce, and we're so excited to have Kohler as a proud host for today's event. So I'd like to zoom into Pat. I see Pat's online right now, and Pat Mahone is the general manager for Kohler Craft. Pat, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Brian. Just first off, I want to thank Missouri Chamber of Commerce for putting on this event and producing that video. I've seen that video now probably about 5 times, and every time I see it, I still get excited about the fact that I get to work in a place that does all the kind of cool stuff that they show in that video. So appreciate that. So, Kohler Craft, one of the things that comes across in the video is how fast-paced our work is. As you see, we're producing parts every 45, 90 seconds. We're changing our molds every 30 to 60 minutes, and we're doing that multiple times a shift. So it's a very fast-paced environment. Toward the part of that video, you saw one of our packing robots, our universal robot that we use that Mike was talking about. And in some ways, you look at that and it kind of potentially decreases the need for a worker or someone standing there. But in reality, it's creating the need for more skilled workers that can do the programming and work with the automation that we use in our business. So, we have all kinds of different levels of skill that are needed, from operators to people that can work with automation to material handlers. So there's a wide variety of positions that we offer. The other thing that I think is kind of cool about our business is when I walk through our plant every day, I see the parts that we make and we're producing today. And it's kind of interesting to think that the parts we're making today are going to be going onto a vehicle in the next 1 to 2 weeks. I mean, that's how quick our industry is, that things don't sit around very long. And there's some pride that our workers and the people work for Kohler Craft can take in that the things we're making are going onto vehicles, are going into, as we pointed out, personal protective equipment that's using to prevent COVID being spread among the first responders. So there is a certain level of pride that people have, and we try to reinforce that by letting people know that the things we do are really have a benefit in adding value. In the video, you saw a number of large tonnage presses. So in our business, the larger the tonnage press, the larger the part that you can make. And we have a number of those larger tonnage presses, which kind of gives us a little bit of a competitive advantage. There aren't a lot, because that equipment is so expensive, there aren't a lot of molders that have that size equipment. So allows us to bid and take on some business that some other molders can't do. So that's kind of the niche that we've moved into. Kohler Craft is larger tonnage. We do have some smaller tonnage, make some smaller parts also, but for the most part, we are a large tonnage, large part manufacturer. When you walk through our plant, even though, as you see in the video, you see individual operators working at a press, but our business really relies on everyone kind of working together as one coordinated team. And we really do focus on that team aspect of our business. It's almost like a football team or a baseball team or a basketball team. Everybody has a specific role and they play a key role. And without that, if one person isn't able to do their job or doesn't do it correctly, it kind of affects the entire team. So no matter what position you're in, it's vital to the support that we that we need and the things that we need to provide to our customers. You know, if there's one element that breaks down, the whole team kind of breaks down. So it really focuses us on working as a team together, relying on each other, making sure everyone understands the roles that they have and the roles that the other people have too, which makes it, you know, kind of an interesting place to work for. You know, that team environment is a key structure, and we think that's more important than people just working individually. And because it's a team, as I mentioned, it's made up of different roles, different responsibilities, or what we call different job classifications. At Kohler-Craft, we have a number of job classifications from our entry-level operator position, which most new employees are going to start at that entry-level position. But there are tremendous opportunities to move up within the organization to other job classifications. And we have multiple job classifications that people can move into. Floor people or our material handlers, the individuals that are driving the forklifts, moving our raw material or moving our finished goods. Quality control or our inspectors, the individuals that go around on each of the shifts and verify that the product is correct. Press setup or maintenance, process techs, tool makers, shift supervisors, it kind of goes on and on. And as you move up in job classification, you take on more responsibility and you relates to higher level of pay. I mean, I was thinking about it the other day when I was putting this information together. We currently have at least 5 individuals who are in a management position or are working in a office environment that started here as press operators. So we really do stress that the ability to move people up. So again, Kohler-Craft's I think is a great place to work. I've been here for 15 years. We have a number of employees, 30 plus years have been here, and people don't stick around unless it is a good place to work. So we think that what we do is pretty important. And we are currently hiring. So any individuals who are interested, contact us, and we'll be happy to place people and start them off in a great career. So, Brian, any questions?
Yeah, Pat, actually, we do have some questions coming through, and we're going to go to one here shortly. Before we do, I would like you to explain a little bit. Kohler-Craft is actually multifaceted. You have, besides the automotive side, you actually produce fish tanks and, you know, lighting. Can you just give a quick overview of what that looks like?
So yeah, we have a very diverse types of products and industries that we serve. Automotive is a big part of what we do, but Kohler Enterprises also manufactures injection molded aquariums, and we do that out of our Kansas City facility. We are the only North American manufacturer of aquariums. We sell those products through Walmart, Amazon. We also injection mold thin-walled cups and containers that are decorative cups, things you would get at Busch Stadium or sporting events that have high-end graphics on it. We also do that at our Kansas City facility. And then we have a subsidiary called Scientific Lighting Products, which makes, we design, manufacture, and produce our own lighting, overhead lighting enclosures, things that go into offices, go into parking garages. So yes, very diverse. The commonality among all of them is the injection molding part of it, but the industries and customers that we serve are very different.
Great. Yeah, I just wanted you to share that with them because, you know, that's one of the unique things that makes Kohler-Craft and Kohler Enterprise very different than many manufacturers out there. But it's also something that we see in other manufacturing spectrums in Missouri where, you know, organizations, manufacturers are producing different types of products than what you wouldn't normally think that they would produce on a day-to-day basis. So it's great to hear that. We're going to zoom into a student. We have Alyssa from Northview High School. I see has climbed on, and she has a question for you, Pat. Alyssa, welcome to Manufacturing Day.
Hello, thank you. I was just wondering how old you have to be to work there?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear that.
How old you have to be to work at
Kohler? Oh. So for for entry-level positions, our minimum requirement is you have a high school education. So that's the age that we would start hiring people at.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Alyssa. Pat, I see we have some more questions coming in. Aaron has a question. We'll go ahead and zoom into Aaron. Aaron, if you want to go ahead and unmute your mic and unmute your video if you can. If not, just go ahead and ask the question.
Hi, so I work for vocational rehabilitation, which is a division of DESE, and we put a lot of individuals to work, especially in manufacturing. So I just was wondering what your hiring process looked like, what your onboarding process was like. So maybe, we could all understand kind of what you're looking for.
Yeah, so individuals we hire are entry-level positions. As I mentioned, they're entry-level is a press operator position. So our hiring processes will, the normal process is we'll receive resumes, we'll review resumes. Based on that, we'll select individuals for interviewing. We'll have those individuals interview with our operations manager, our HR manager. Once we identify that individual would be a good fit, we'll go ahead and make an offer to the individual. We have a 60-day probationary period that we use to evaluate the entry-level positions, the individuals that we hire. And during that time, the first days and the first week, operators will work with a current operator who we've identified on each shift who's a training operator. So we just don't put somebody on the press and let them go. We have them work side by side with a training operator who also is who's evaluating that individual to make sure that they're able to do the work. But we do try to make sure that the individual is trained properly, and that we have a separate area set up, which is kind of simulates a work environment where they'll spend a half a day at also. So that first week is really working side by side with an individual or in a simulation area. And then second week is usually when they'll move into a position and start on their own.
Great. Thank you so much, Pat. And thank you for the question, Aaron. We really appreciate it. We have one more question, Pat, and then we're going to have to zoom out of here to our next host company. So we have Rich Chapman from Kirksville Technical School. So, Rich?
Yeah, sorry about the darkness of the room. I teach engineering up here in Kirksville, and our students get involved with a lot of design and AutoCAD. So I didn't know if you could share just a little bit about what you guys do in your company in terms of the design process.
Yeah, so a couple different things. In our custom molding business, we also use 3D modeling or CAD modeling. Primarily, we're using it, our customers come to us with a design product already, and we're using the 3D models to design the tools that will make the product. But on the other subsidiaries, our lighting division, our aquarium division, engineers there are using AutoCAD and some other 3D modeling applications to design the products themselves, which then they also use to design the tools. So yeah, it's very prominent in our company, in our industry. We're sharing files with our customers, and we're using information they're providing to either make tools or quote on jobs. So yeah, it would be hard for me to think about how we would carry on without the modeling and the CAD design part of our business, both on product design and tool design.
Fantastic. We have so many, Pat, we have so many area technical schools from around the state that are queuing in on this, as well as we have almost 200 classrooms right now that are in the Zoom, and it's just great to have Kohler part of this day. I know I was very proud to be there at Kohler and learn firsthand from you and Al and everybody else on the team. And you hit on a key point. You are a team, day in and day out. You believe that it is a team work effort that gets the part across the finish line and gets it into your consumer, which is any of the North American and foreign auto manufacturers that you feed to. So Pat, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for Kohler for all that you do to help not only keep the lights on the road, but also to keep people safe with the PPE that you pivoted to over the recent COVID. So Pat, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Brian.
Now, I'd like to just kind of give a quick overview of where Missouri Manufacturing Day has been and where we're going. And really, we started on this in 2015, and we've pivoted with the COVID to bring it virtual. But out of this whole discussion about what manufacturers need, Kohler Craft's president, Al Kohler, with Dan Meehan, our president of the Missouri Chamber, worked to start a new initiative at the Missouri Chamber called the Missouri Chamber Manufacturing Alliance. I'm going to play a quick video to showcase a little bit about what the Manufacturing Alliance is all about. We launched the Manufacturing Alliance this past year during the COVID, and really today is one of the best events that we have. One of the newest events that we have is bringing Manufacturing Day virtual to you around the state of Missouri. A lot of questions have come in about whether or not these videos will be able to share after the event, and they will. We'll keep these videos live for the next year, so you as students and classroom teachers and counselors can use these videos at will, wherever you need to, in your classrooms or at home in your virtual learning settings. Now, it is a privilege to zoom in to Lebanon, Missouri, to G3 Boats. G3 Boats is part of Yamaha. The company produces more than 100 models of aluminum fishing and pontoon boats. If you've been on a lake, a river, or the ocean in the past year or longer, you may have come across a G3 boat. We're going to watch and learn what G3 does to produce these great ocean and water-faring craft in Lebanon, Missouri. And then we'll hear from Jesse Hawkins, production supervisor for G3 Boats.
G3 Boats is a Yamaha-owned boat company and manufactures over 100 models of aluminum fishing boats and pontoons at their location in Lebanon, Missouri. At G3, building the best quality, best value fishing and pontoon boats in the marine industry is no accident. As a Yamaha boat company, we strive for excellence in all our research, manufacturing, and testing processes. The aluminum that we start with comes in coils, sheets, and extrusions. We use only marine-grade aluminum. The process begins at the G3 plasma cutters in our fabrication department. These computer-controlled cutters are designed to cut every specific pattern exactly the same, time after time. CAD drawings that are done in-house in our engineering department are what guide the plasma cutter. The hull operators are carefully chosen and trained boat builders that make sure every hull is exactly right. The team members who build the ribs make sure to bend and shape the ribs into the proper shape and size, and then the ribs are put into a large oven which hardens them to the proper temperature. All through the G3 fabrication department, you will see men and women who take pride in what they do. Shears, brake press operators, welders, rib benders, CNC router operators, and others know their job is important. Quality control is built into every process at G3, and everyone is considered a quality control employee. Testing goes on during many of the processes to make sure everything meets the G3 quality standards. Suncatcher pontoons are built starting with a solid foundation. This is done by through bolting one-piece extruded crossmember directly to the top of the U-shaped flotation logs. Each log is pressure tested for leaks. Suncatcher not only through bolts all crossmembers directly to high-volume U-shaped logs, but also attaches all crossmembers 16 inches on center for the full length of the boat. Suncatcher's U-shaped logs sit higher in the water with less drag on the side of the pontoon. The next step is adding the closed cell foam flotation blocks inside the log. Suncatcher construction goes above and beyond the industry standard in this regard. On the front of the log is the nose cone. The nose cones lead the way into the water. At G3, we make the nose cones out of heavier gauge material than logs. This gives our logs added durability. All our pontoon decking is top quality 7-ply marine grade treated plywood with a limited lifetime guarantee direct from the manufacturer. Most of our pontoons comes with a full-length under-deck performance shields that increase fuel efficiency, speed, and durability. High-performance full-length lifting strakes are also standard equipment on all tri-log models. Of course, all the powertrain equipment is Yamaha. The key switch, controls, and cables are all genuine Yamaha parts and are tested with each model to ensure the highest quality and performance. Our fish boats are constructed with the same commitment to quality as our pontoons. Our boats have features like welded construction that uses the highest grade 100 gauge marine aluminum. Unihull designs for a stronger, more stable craft from bow to stern. Whether the boat is designed for welded or riveted boats, the utmost care is put into every boat, remembering that every customer matters. We maintain state-of-the-art welding machines that give our welders time to weld every hull precisely. All boats are tested in a water-filled test tank. G3 has a state-of-the-art paint department that uses a conveyor system and has an electrostatically charged paint system that assures the paint looks great and reduces the amount of overspray for both the painter and the environment. Individual booths include drying, primer, painting, and baking. By the end of this process, it's no wonder our paint looks great. Once the boat goes into the finish line, it receives the decals, wiring, plumbing, floors, furniture, and console. At the end of the finish line, all components are checked one last time. Every light, switch, gauge, and live well is checked before it leaves the factory to make sure everything is working properly. You can take pride working at G3, knowing that you are not just building a boat, but a high-quality, high-performance model that will bring joy to a customer for years and years.
It really is just amazing to see G3 boats and what they produce day in and day out down in Lebanon, Missouri. As Jesse's onboarding right now, I'm going to go ahead and, oh, there we go. Jesse, we had some trouble zooming you in, it sounds like, but you're here on speaker and zooming in that way.
Yes, sir.
Hey, technology, it works when it does, and we adapt when it doesn't. So great to have you here. We just saw inside G3, and if you could kind of give us a little bit about, why it's exciting to work at G3 and what you find of value, and then we're going to turn it over to some of the students for Q&A.
Okay, that'll work. First off, I want to say thank you for this opportunity. That video you guys put together was great. For our company, for both history, let our product look good on the water. Here, myself, when I started here years ago, through hard work and taking advantage of opportunities within a company. That I'm to a production supervisor now, 15 years later. So, there's a lot of opportunities. You come in here as an assembler, you come in here as a forklift driver or whatever, a welder, and there's always room for advancement. If you come as an assembler and you want to learn how to weld, we actually have programs here, and we'll have some classes at times to teach people to weld to help them grow, and of course it helps us too by creating more welders. You know, we're owned by Yamaha.
Hey, Jesse,
Yes, sir.
do you have your video on, or the sound in your room?
I'm actually on speaker on my phone.
Okay. No?
Am I getting a lot of bleed through?
A little bit, yeah. Maybe if you go off speaker on your phone.
Let me turn my computer's speaker down. Is that better?
I think so. Do I have a thumbs up from the comms? We have a thumbs up. Go ahead, Jesse.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Better. Thank you.
Okay, as I was saying, just a lot of opportunities. You know, most people will come in as a assembler, and then we'll work as assembler for a while, and you can learn more jobs and advance that way. There's all kinds of opportunities in a boat factory. You know, we have everything from welders, forklift drivers, to rigging department, to painters. You know, paint prep, shooting foam inside the boats, flotation, all the way down to quality control. Now, we always say that every employee is a quality control person, because you can't really check quality into a product after you build it. You got to build quality into it as it's coming. So, and that's one of the things we're proud of. You know, we build aluminum boats. There's a lot of aluminum boats in the world. We feel like we build one of the best, the structure, not only the best looking boats, but the structurally sound boats that's going to last you a lifetime. You can take your family out in, and hopefully that you can hand down to your kids, and they can take their families out in.
And Jesse, you actually, you start the boat.
Very good work environment. Like I said, we're tight-knit people. Once you get in here, it's kind of like being in a family, type setting. We kind of look out for each other. And we actually, within the company, we have several different customers within ourselves. We got a fab department that fabs up parts, and they actually manufacture most of our parts in-house. And then our warehouse, of course, ties into that. And then they feed our production lines, and our production lines feed our paint departments, and the paint departments feed on into the finished departments. And then we got our finished product go out the door to our loading and our rigging departments here within. So we got several customers just within our own company that we got to serve to serve the big, the big picture, the end customer that's out on the lake.
Hey, that's great, Jesse. One of the things, can you explain, you get raw aluminum and then you turn that into that pontoon boat or that fishing boat. Can you kind of explain a little bit of that?
Yeah, it just comes in big coils. We do have some flat stock that comes in also in the heavier material, but we use a lot of 100,000s. We got everything from 5.4 to 100,000s, but it comes in a flat coil. Of course, you see the decoiler, how it flattens it out on the plasma cutters. We actually have a shear. We have to have a shear and a CNC machine too that cuts parts. And then from there on, they go to the brake press operators, and the brake press operators break their parts, and then they actually go to a sub-assembly weld area where we try to build as many parts outside the boat as we can. It makes it better for our people. You're not bent over in a boat all day long or trying to stand on your head. You can actually work on a table, build most of those decks, and then it makes it a lot easier in assembly line too, because you're putting big components in instead of little big pieces, like putting a puzzle together all day. But and then on our pontoon side of things, we actually have a log former over there. It's the same thing. It comes in as a round coil, and we got a decoiler. It rolls through, shears it off at length. It actually rolls the ends on the sides as it comes through the former, and then we're able to just roll it over and make our U-shaped logs.
That's great. And we saw a little bit of that in the video. Jesse, we do have a question, and I'd like to try and go to, we have a 8th grade class, Avila 8th grade class would like to ask a question. We're going to go ahead and unmute them and zoom them in. We'll ask the question. If you don't hear it, Jesse, let me know, and I will go ahead and rephrase it to you.
Okay. I can't hear you.
They're onboarding right now, Jesse.
Okay.
There we go.
Hi.
Howdy.
My class wanted to know about how long it took to create one of your boats.
Did you get that, Jesse?
Yes, sir. For the most part, like a pontoon, we have about a 3-day production from start to finish. From the time it becomes a log to the time it actually goes out the end of the line, it's about 3 days. Our fish boats, they vary because there's such a wide range between a John, like a little John boat. Some of them will run through in 5 days, but we actually have some of the bigger bay boats and things that's made for the shallow oceans and things like that. They'll take up to 14 days to run through because we got to go through the base department, get them all welded up. Then there's actually 3 different stages of painting on those before they make it to finish. So it takes a little bit of time for them to make it through. But about 14 days is the longest, but we can build a pontoon in about 3 days.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Ava. We're going to go ahead and we have one other question, Jesse, we'd like to pose to you. So we're going to have Bree Jenkins is going to go live with a question. Bree, we have you onboarding now. If you want to go ahead and mute your sound and video. Welcome to Manufacturing Day.
Hi. My question was get the paint to stick without coming off in the water.
Great question. Did you hear that, Jesse?
No, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
Yeah. How do you get the paint to stay on the boat when it goes in the water without coming off?
Really, that all comes down to the prep work on the front side of the paint. We actually have a chemical that we put on the aluminum. It etches the metal, and then we use a primer, and then the primer etches itself into the metal, and then our urethane paint goes over the top. We do shoot a clear coat on top of our logs, it's just for a little extra protection, but we haven't had a whole lot of paint issues over the years.
Yeah, I would think that that's critical. You know, you put a nice, beautiful paint finish on it, and you don't want somebody taking it down the river and in a couple weeks having the paint just peeling off on you. So great answer there, Jesse. You mentioned one thing, and we're going to have to roll into our next segment, but just wanted to touch on this. You mentioned it's a team down there. Our last host company was Kohler. They talked about being a team. You know, if I'm somebody watching, you know, what's the first thing you'd recommend for me if I wanted to go work at G3?
Oh, really, you know, just get familiar with some tools. That's the thing when people's coming in. We get people today that has never used a drill or anything like that. So, you know, if you get familiar with tools, if you can learn a trade, you know, to weld or all the way down to machine operator, you know, there's so many avenues you can go in an industry like this because, you know, like I said, there's a wide range of jobs and opportunities in here.
Absolutely. Great. Thanks so much, Jesse. Well, we are proud to have G3 Boats as a member of the Missouri Chamber, and really it's been a pleasure to have you Zoom in with us with Manufacturing Day 2020. Thank you for all that you and your team does to really have a great footprint in Missouri and really to keep people, you know, outdoors and enjoying the good times that they can have with one another on the rivers, the lakes, and the seas. So thank you, Jesse. And we're going to go ahead and zoom into our next segment now.
Thank you.
So we just wrapped up our first hour of Manufacturing Day. We had Kohler Craft and G3 Boats, both success stories in Missouri. And I hope you get a chance to go online and view a little bit more into what Kohler Craft produces and G3 Boats. In fact, next time you're in a Bass Pro Shop, you may just see a G3 boat there on the showroom floor. Now, as we kick off our second hour, I'd like to begin by thanking our sponsors. Our presenting sponsor is BKD CPA and Advisors. Every day, they help manufacturers around the state keep their backroom operations running smoothly and all the accounting practices in place that they need to be successful and prosperous. I'd also like to thank our gold sponsors, Toyota Missouri, which you'll hear from shortly, Walmart, our silver sponsors, Nike Air Manufacturing Innovation in St. Charles, State Technical College of Missouri in Lynn, Catalent, the Chamber Benefit Plan, the National Tool Machine Association St. Louis Chapter, Lebanon Red Economic Development Corp., and the Boeing Center Supply Chain Innovation at Washington University and Watlow. It's great to have these supporting sponsors. Now, I'd like to have just a quick special message from our presenting sponsor, BKD.
Throughout its history, Missouri has been a manufacturing powerhouse, stoking the engines of American growth. Missouri's manufacturers generated $40.7 billion in 2018, representing 12.8% of the state's output and employing 9.4% of the state's workforce. BKD CPAs and Advisors is proud to be a part of the success of Missouri's industrial sector. Since our founding here in Missouri nearly 100 years ago, BKD has provided manufacturers with sound financial advice and valuable resources to help them make tough business decisions. With 40 offices in 18 states, we have a large footprint, but BKD's heart remains in Missouri. Though businesses have recently faced challenges most have never seen before, Missouri's manufacturers are a bedrock of the state's economic engine. BKD is honored to support Missouri manufacturers as their trusted advisors.
Thank you, BKD. Before we move into this next segment, I'd just like to point out, for those that are joining us new in the Zoom portal, if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A so we can get to your questions as best we can. If you're joining us live through Facebook, please put your questions in the comment box, and we'll try to get to them as quick as we can. If we do highlight you as a speaker, we'll go ahead and unmute your video and your sound, and you can ask the question directly to the individuals you'll see before you. Now, it is my pleasure to key up the next video and our next manufacturer, Toyota Missouri Manufacturing in Troy, Missouri. They've been a staple of North American automotive might for many, many years, and they've been a proud supporter of Manufacturing Day since 2015 and even before. We're going to go right inside Toyota now for a special look at how they make the heart and lungs of the engines that you see on the roadways each day.
Welcome to Toyota, Missouri. This advanced manufacturing facility is home to over 900 highly skilled and dedicated team members who make aluminum cylinder heads for every car, truck, and SUV that Toyota builds in North America. You might be wondering, what's a cylinder head? Well, we like to call it the lungs of the engine because it's critical for controlling the fuel and air mixture into the engine, as well as the exhaust from the engine. Now, Toyota Missouri is one of the largest aluminum casting manufacturers in the world with 600,000 square feet under roof on a 200-acre campus. And while our size is impressive, it's really our people and our technology that are the big deal. Throughout our plant, team members work hand in hand with robots and other automated technology to drive Toyota quality and consistency. But what really makes us a Toyota manufacturing facility is our Toyota Production System, otherwise known as TPS. Our terrific people are highly skilled in the art of built-in quality and just-in-time delivery. So, let's go inside and I'll show you what I mean.
To manufacture cylinder heads, we use a low-pressure casting system. The key components of our casting process are dies, which are molds made out of steel, and sand cores, which are molds made out of, you guessed it, sand. These components are designed to create the shape of the cylinder head when we add molten aluminum. The complex shapes in a cylinder head help to make Toyota vehicles more efficient and fun to drive. The first step in our casting process is mixing sand and a binder together. That mixture is pressed into a die and heated, creating an extremely precise, intricate sand shape, the sand core. And here's a fun fact. The sand core is heated to about 280 degrees Celsius, or 536 degrees Fahrenheit. The sand cores get automatically filed down to remove any extra material. They're then sent to the aluminum casting machine via an AGV, an automatic guided vehicle that moves the cores to where they need to go just in time. Our team members load the sand cores into the casting machine. The mold is closed, and liquid aluminum is slowly poured into the cavity. Air fills the pressure chamber from the top and pushes the metal down. Then, the metal flows upward through the stalk and into the mold. Water and cooling circuits help to solidify the aluminum. Once the metal is solid, we remove the casting. Fun fact, the casting is so hot, it takes about 30 minutes for it to cool and move on to the next process. To finish the process, we separate the sand from the aluminum. Hammers knock sand out of the casting, and then the excess metal is trimmed away. We then take extra care to separate and recycle the scrap metal and leftover sand. What we just showed you is our typical finishing process. A new technology we've recently introduced to the plant is flexible finishing. This technique incorporates automated technologies and allows us to finish different kinds of parts on the same machines. This flexibility ensures we can better meet our customers' needs. Now, once the finishing process is complete, the aluminum casting is heat treated to strengthen the freshly minted cylinder heads. Another fun fact, each year we use up to 74 million pounds of aluminum. That's equivalent to about 2.3 billion aluminum soda cans. The last step is inspection. Since quality is a hallmark of the Toyota brand, we carefully inspect every single cylinder head casting we produce. In fact, some castings go through an even more rigorous inspection process at our quality control lab. Every month, more than 1,000 castings and dies are sliced, diced, or examined to track down any inconsistencies. Our final fun fact, Toyota Missouri can produce nearly 3 million cylinder heads per year. That's about 9 every minute. That's a lot of cylinder heads, and none of it can happen without the work of our talented and dedicated team members. Toyota's success depends on continuous improvement and respect for people, the foundations of the Toyota way.
So we hope you've enjoyed learning about our plant today. At Toyota Missouri, we're committed to delivering superior quality cylinder heads for the most technologically advanced, reliable, and safe vehicles on the road today. We appreciate your interest. Thanks for watching.
Great to see inside Toyota there in Troy, Missouri. And we have now live with us, Wes Woods, the star of the tour. Wes, great to see you and welcome aboard Manufacturing Day 2020. Exciting to have you here. Wes, can you tell us about the excitement there in Toyota and what you guys do day in and day out to make America run?
Yeah, Brian, how are you? Can you confirm the sound is okay?
We are good.
Great, thank you. We're very, very happy to be here today. And I don't know about being the star of the video. I think through the video, you probably saw many stars, right? We have excellent team members here. We have amazing robots and technology that are doing difficult work. And we're just really excited to be here today. We love supporting Manufacturing Day. And as you know, we always love to host here in-house, so that students can come and see exactly what we do on the shop floor. But unfortunately this year, we can't do that, right, because of the COVID-19. And I'm gonna keep my mask on here. We have very strict safety protocols here at the plant. As the video showed, we have over 900 team members working here. So it's really important to maintain safety. And I have people in the room here with me today. I'd love to take this off so you could, just see me as I speak, but I'm going to keep that on. I do have a safety commitment, and that is to keep this plant safe through COVID-19. Now, what I would like to share with everyone on the call today is that, I am Wes Woods. I'm the president of Toyota Motor Manufacturing, Tennessee, Missouri, and a plant that we have in Vancouver, Canada. And what I want to share with you today is my personal story. And the reason why I want to do that is because I think through my personal story, perhaps you all, some on this call, can find a career or be interested in a career in manufacturing. You know, when I graduated high school at the age of 18, I wanted to go to the university to be an engineer. That was my desire. And unfortunately, my parents couldn't pay to send me to a university. And I didn't want to have, you know, huge student loans at that time. So a local manufacturing plant was hiring. And at the age of 19, I was able to get a job at this manufacturing plant. It's an engine manufacturing plant that builds diesel engines. And as I started, I was a nighttime machine cleaner. That's what I did. I cleaned the machines all night for about 2 years. And during that time, I enrolled at a local community college so that I could take the basic courses, you know, English and history and some math courses and whatnot as I pursued my engineering degree. Well, the good news is the company that I worked for, this manufacturing company, they had educational assistance, which helped me to pay for that education. So then 8 years later, it took a long time to graduate with my engineering degree. I became an engineer and eventually a supervisor. And I'll say about 15 years later, I was really blessed to be promoted to the operations manager, or like second in charge of that plant. I never could have imagined it possible when I joined as a 18-year-old machine cleaner. I didn't know what manufacturing was, you know, at that time. Then Toyota came to my town in Alabama where I lived, and I was fortunate to have been selected by Toyota to start as a manager, to start a brand new engine plant there. And it was an amazing career as well. And then, you know, I'll say some 12 or 13 short years later, I was asked to come here to Missouri to lead this operation. And I'll tell you, I'm very, very blessed and humbled to be the leader of so many amazing team members here at our plant. You know, one of the best things about my job is interacting with our people. And you know, what you see in the video here in manufacturing, you see people manufacturing engine heads in this case, and you see robots and the technology, but we employ accountants, we employ corporate communications people, we employ production control people, human resources. It's not just manufacturing. There are so many job opportunities at a manufacturing company like ours. But really, I share this story with you today. It's not about me, but it's to encourage you that you can start anywhere in manufacturing and you can achieve amazing things. It happened for me, and it can happen for you, and I have absolutely no doubt that that's the case. You know, I'm thankful for this career, and today I have a couple of folks here that are going to speak to you. You know, I'm an old guy. Look at me. Can you see me? I'm an old guy. You know, in a couple of years or a few years or a handful of years, yeah, I see a couple of you laughing there. In a few years, you know, I'll retire. These are our leaders of the future. These are the next plant managers, the next presidents. And the first person who's going to talk to you is Megan Clausen. She's an engineer with our, of course, our production engineering department. She's going to share a little bit about what she does here and her career. Megan?
Hi, everyone. My name is Megan Clausen, and I'm a senior engineering analyst for casting here at TMMO. I graduated from University of Missouri-Rolla, which is now Missouri S&T, with a major in mechanical and a minor in aerospace engineering. After graduation, I went straight to work for Toyota, and I moved across the country a couple times before I ended up here in Missouri for my permanent rotation. My main role right now is using a simulation software called MagmaSoft. And what that does is it allows us to simulate the entire casting process. So I can use this computer software to actually see inside the die while the metal is going in and making the casting all the way until it's solidified and ejected. And by doing this, this helps us understand how the process works better, but it's also letting us know if we change something in the process, if it's going to have the desired effect that we want, or if we need to step back and try to change something else so that we don't make defects. And then one of my favorite things about the job is there's always something new to learn. Last month, I was asked about taking our die maintenance shop, which currently uses pencil and paper, and seeing if I can digitize it by making an app for the iPad. I haven't had a programming class in close to 17 years, so a lot's changed since then. But this is a huge opportunity for me to learn something entirely new that's going to be very useful for us in the future for other projects in the plant as well. Okay, I'll let Wes get back here.
Well, thank you, Megan. Thanks for sharing what you do with everyone today. And then next we have a gentleman, his name is Tyler Frankenhausen. Now, before he comes, I want to share with you, we have an advanced manufacturing technician program. This is where students, directly from high school can enter into this program to learn how to be robot technicians, to learn how to program equipment and robots, repair, and it's an amazing career. And it's a 2-year technical school education career, if you will, and it's a great entry point for many people into manufacturing. And Tyler's going to come now and explain a little bit about what he does and what he's learning through this program.
Hi everyone, my name is Tyler Frankenhauser. My personal safety commitment is to always wear proper eye and face protection when needed. So working with Toyota has been a great experience so far, and I enjoy every minute of it. And what's great about this more than anything else is that not only do I get to work here, but I also get to get experience at school. So what I'm learning at school corresponds to what I'm doing at work. And ever since I was really little, like 5 years old, I've been into robotics, work with my hands, and the experience of getting to do that through my adulthood is just fantastic, because at school I'll learn mostly on computers or maybe with like training. But when I go to work, I'll get to work on the real thing, like working on cabinets, working with building them, or even building the AGVs, like the machines you've been seeing in that video. And I'm hoping that in the future that I'll get to have a great future working with Toyota Bodine, well, Toyota. And I'm hoping that I'll get to learn more and more as I work here and get to have more experience and just get better at what I'm doing, because every minute I've spent working here, I've enjoyed every moment. It just has been a great experience for me. And thank you.
Thank you, Tyler.
Great. Thank you, Tyler.
So let me come back here, and I appreciate you all for listening today. And I'll tell you, before we open the Q&A, I've been standing here the entire time as we've been talking with you and sharing with you, and I'm seeing Alyssa Martin and Brianna Jenkins on the screen right now. And it's really awesome to see young ladies paying attention to manufacturing, because we don't have enough female diversity in manufacturing. We have great jobs here for you. So we just really want to encourage young ladies, pay attention to manufacturing. Think about it. Everything you have, everything you see around you was manufactured by somebody. There's always going to be manufacturing jobs. So what questions do you have today?
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and go to Alyssa and on the Zoom. And Alyssa, if you want to go ahead and unmute your volume. There you go.
Hello.
Hello.
My question for you today is if the job could be dangerous.
Did you hear that, Wes? Is the job?
Let me repeat the question. Did you ask, are the jobs dangerous? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you, anytime you're working around equipment, machines, and robots, there is some danger, unquestionably. But that said, we have excellent safety practices and procedures and processes. We teach team members how to do the job safely, and we make that part of every training program. So our injury rate here is very, very low. Manufacturing is very, very safe. You don't have to worry about that. Every manufacturing company that you're going to see today has excellent safety records, and I'll tell you, we build amazing cars, but if we don't do it safely, it doesn't make sense. So you don't have to worry about that.
Great, Wes. You kind of touched on this already about COVID and how, Toyota's pivoting. We have a question from Brianna about that. Brianna, can you go ahead and unmute your volume and your microphone?
Hi. My question is, what is your company's response to COVID-19?
Well, I'll tell you, that's an awesome question. We have manufacturing plants all over the United States. And even during the shutdown, when everyone was at home, all of our company executives and top management team, we were working together to to develop protocols for safety here. For example, when team members come to work every day, we have temperature checks. Everyone is wearing face covers and masks. We have social distancing of our manufacturing processes. We had to reinvent and redesign some of our processes in order for people to be able to separate and work safely. We have protocols around lunch times and break times, how to keep people separate and safe. It's amazing the amount of work that we were able to accomplish in such a short time to keep good COVID safety here. And I'll tell you, I'm so pleased that our team members are following those rules and paying attention to all of the COVID safety. We've had a great success thus far in that we've not had any COVID spread inside of our plant. We're so proud of that, and it's because of our team members' great effort.
Great. Wes, we have time for one more question that came through, and I think we're going to zoom them in. If we can, it is live NCC production tech is going to come on real quick, and we'll ask our last question.
Okay.
Okay, I'm seeing they're not going to zoom in now, but they've asked their question, and here's what they want to know. NCC Production Tech wants to know what benefits Toyota offers employees.
Oh my goodness. You know, with a great pay scale comes a lot. I guess you're asking personal benefits. So of course we have medical, dental, we have eye and vision. We have 401k programs with 401k matches. We have pension programs. I'll tell you, you know, one of the most attractive parts, I think, of a job in a manufacturing facility such as ours or any that you're going to see here is that every company offers a lot of those what we call side benefits aside from your normal pay that take care of you and your family anytime you need, you know, medical care, prescription care, saving for your future, for retirement programs. It's awesome. Thank you for that question.
Yeah. One last question. I just want to know, how many cars does Toyota produce in a given day that hit the road?
Well, I don't know. We're producing over 2 million a year.
Wow.
Here in North America. So I don't know. You can do the math on that. I don't have my calculator in front of me, but you know, here in North America, particularly in the U.S., you know, we produce the Camry, the Avalon, the RAV4, the Tacoma and Tundra trucks, the Sienna minivan, if you will, the Highlander SUV. We have new compact SUV coming, the Corolla. We manufacture almost an entire lineup of Toyota cars right here in the USA, and we have a manufacturing plant in southern Canada. So we're very, very happy to manufacture here. We build them where we sell them, and we buy where we're building them, which means we help support an entire supply chain of manufacturers who provide components to our manufacturing facilities.
That's great. Thanks, Wes. You know, we really had some great Q&A, and it was wonderful to see inside Toyota there in Troy, Missouri. We're going to move on to our next segment, our next host company shortly. Thank you so much for zooming in. Appreciate all you do for Toyota and for Missouri. Now, as we move on to our next segment, I'd just like to remind you, if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A box on your Zoom, or if you're on Facebook Live, put the Q&A in the comment box. Now, we're very thankful. Each day we have support from our manufacturers around the state, but they are supported by Walmart. Walmart's one of our sponsors, and they play a big role in what manufacturing contributes to the state of Missouri and really the country and the world. And now I'd like to show a short message from Walmart about how they help day in and day out manufacturers in Missouri.
My name is Jason Osborne, and I'm a merchant in lawn and garden. I buy mulches, potting mixes, all things landscaping and gardening.
My name is Becky Blake, and I'm the senior buyer for home decor and lighting.
So last year was my first year buying at the open call event. It was really exciting for me to see the suppliers come in and give the pitch and their passion for the product and how much time and effort they put into it.
I've been to every open call since it started. This meeting could change a supplier's life to meet a Walmart buyer.
An opportunity to be on Walmart.com, Walmart shelves, the opportunity to grow their business, to hire more people, to expand. That's really what this program is all about.
During COVID, we're all working from home, and we all will be virtually meeting each other. We really want to make it special this year for our suppliers because it is going to be very different. This is a big deal to a lot of people, and it may be their first time speaking to Walmart. It can be a very intimidating meeting, but just know as buyers, we want to hear your story.
This year, what's great about it is there's unlimited space. So there's a lot more opportunity, there's a lot more supplier meetings, and I think that's one great thing about this process.
When you form this, connection with your suppliers and you hear about their story and all the hard work.
And that's what this is all about, finding great suppliers, buying the products so they can hire more folks. It's an amazing day. It's one of the best days of, besides my anniversary, it's the best day of the year for me.
We appreciate all Walmart does to support Missouri manufacturing, and you'll actually hear from a representative of Walmart's global operations later on today when we close out our program about how they're making Missouri manufacturing stronger and brighter than ever before. Now we're going to move into our next segment, our next host company, which we're really excited to go into Warrensburg, Missouri to see inside Swisher, which is a company that creates farm landscaping equipment. If you ever thought about how to do something better on the farm or in your yard because you just don't want to do all the work that you really need to do to get things done that day, Swisher might have a tool or a piece of equipment that will help you do that. Let's go into Warrensburg at Swisher's factory and find out a little bit more. a great look into Swisher. And man, I would love to get a hold of one of those laser cutters to see if I could use one of those things. And maybe the guys will let me on the factory floor and get it to use one of those laser cutters sometime. Now, I'd really like to zoom into Warrensburg live with Ken McGinich, the Human Resource Manager, and Chris Connell, Director of Swisher Operations. Chris, Ken, you have the floor. Welcome to Manufacturing Day 2020.
Good morning, and again, welcome to Manufacturing Day 2020. Brian, we're always looking for good help, so you're welcome to come down, and we'll give you some safety glasses and gloves and put you to work. So from all of us here at Swisher in Warrensburg, again, good morning and welcome. You've seen just a few snippets of the different job opportunities that are available in manufacturing. It's pretty diverse, for the opportunities. Just some quick facts on manufacturing. In the United States, even within a half a year, manufacturers contribute more than $2.3 trillion to the U.S. economy. Taken alone, manufacturing in the United States is the 9th largest economy in the world. There are approximately 13 million manufacturing workers in the United States, accounting for 8.6% of the entire workforce in the U.S. Over the next decade, there will be over 3.5 million manufacturing jobs that will be needed, and nearly 2 million of those will go unfilled. So that's where Manufacturing Day is really important to educate everybody out there of what the opportunities are. As you've seen from the video, there's a wide variety. It's tough to follow the Toyota video. They did a great job showing the facility and talking about opportunities. Besides the Toyota side, there's just a lot of available opportunities in a wide, diverse range of areas for manufacturing. And I'll turn it over to Ken, who's our Director of HR and IT, and let him tell you about some of those career opportunities.
Well, good morning to everybody. I hope everybody is enjoying this so far. I know it's a little bit different this year being virtual, but I think we're making the best of it this year. As we saw in the video, there are so many career opportunities in manufacturing for anybody. It's not like the old days where you just felt like you had to go to college and get a degree right out of high school. For me, I didn't know what I wanted to do when I got out of high school, so that was the furthest thing from my mind. So, take some time, try some things before you commit to something. It's been kind of a proven fact that most people will change their careers at least a couple times in their business career. So, like I said, keep an open mind, be flexible. Don't rule out anything at this point in your life. As far as what you can do with manufacturing, as you've seen, we need welders. Everybody needs welders. It's a really great thing to do. Hi there. Our skilled laborers like welders, steel fabricators, machine operators, there are countless opportunities for people like that and tremendous career growth in those types of fields. What we do here, and as you've seen a little bit from the video, we design and build our own equipment. So what is really a cool aspect about manufacturing, we can take a concept that we dream up, we take it to our engineers, we mock up a product, we work with it, we develop it, and then we take it to market. So we see something from an idea that we developed all the way to selling it to people. So it's a really, and it makes you it's a great personal feeling to know you've taken something from an idea all the way to a sellable product. And again, we're located right here in Warrensburg, Missouri, small town. So you do not have to go to the big city if you don't want to get great career opportunities with manufacturing. There will always be manufacturing jobs. No matter what you think, there will always be manufacturing jobs. Some of the other areas that we have available, and any manufacturing company does, professional degrees, engineers, you need accounting people to keep your books in line, IT people. One of the new great opportunities for people, and I know everybody knows how to do this, is social media. Facebook, Instagram, not so much TikTok yet, so let's stay away from TikTok. But that is great opportunities for promoting product through manufacturing companies. So I know everybody knows how to do that, so you're already ahead one step above what we can do here already. But Chris, I know how to do. So, see, you're overqualified, we're underqualified, so we shouldn't even be doing this at this point.
Hey,
So,
Ken, hey, to touch on one of the things you pointed, we already got a question in about your welders. You know, what is the starting salary for a welder over there at Swisher?
Most of our welders are going to start, depending on the level of experience they come in with through some of the vocational programs. They're pretty well trained, and they're probably going to be in the range of $14 to $15 an hour to start, plus benefit. When you add the benefits, medical, all that type stuff on top of it, it's not too bad of a starting wage for Central Missouri.
No, that's pretty darn good. And I would imagine you have folks that are driving in from all areas around that region to come and work at Swisher.
we draw people in from about a 50-mile radius here. And one other thing about our company, we have so many long-term employees who have been here 10, 20 plus years with us. So that really goes a long ways for us. So it's not like we're retraining people constantly. We have a great core group that just love working here. And, that builds a great team environment. It builds a great, successful company that way.
We have some students, Ken and Chris, that want to come in and zoom in and ask some questions. So we're going to go to C. Trammell, who's going to ask a question. Okay, if maybe our next group of students, if they want to unmute, go ahead and unmute and go ahead and ask your question. I think it's Maryville Middle School.
How many people are in your work plant?
We have approximately 85 employees here at the facility, primarily work one shift, 5 to 6 days a week.
That's pretty cool.
You guys in Maryville, Missouri?
Yeah.
Awesome. Go Bearcats.
Yeah.
Great. Now we're going to go to Miss Wendler's class. They have a question, and we'll zoom into them if they want to go ahead and unmute their mic and their sound and video.
Hi there.
Hi. I'll turn it around to the class. Hey guys, turn the light on. All right, Hannah.
What was the question? Your question. Ask your question. No. I do have a question now. I was going to ask, what type of equipment do you make?
We make our core products, our outdoor lawn and garden power equipment, from zero turning radius mowers to tow behind, finish mowers and brush mowers, log splitters, etc., as well as emergency tornado shelters is another product line of ours in addition to the power equipment.
I did not know that. Wow, that's great. So where can I buy a Swisher lawnmower? I want to get started and cut my grass this week.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm glad you asked that. You can buy directly from us now at www.swisherinc.com. The whole business model has changed for us, like maybe with many manufacturing companies, where we used to send stuff directly to the big stores like Home Depot, Lowe's, TSC, where you'd have to walk in and buy them. Now you can review videos online that we have, purchase our product online, and we ship it right to your door.
Wow, that's great. Awesome. Well, I hope folks do a little www search real quick for Swisher and find out what they can help with mom and dad this weekend and point them in the right direction. We have another
kids, be sure to get your mom and dad's credit card, and then we're ready to go.
Fantastic. Hey, we have another class, guys, that we need to zoom in. It's Avila's 6th grade class. Hey, guys. Good morning. You have a question.
Avila. She was having a hard time using it.
Hey, guys, we see you live. Are you ready to ask your question? Go ahead and unmute your sound on your laptop. Looks like you're good on the Zoom. As we get them up, Ken and Chris.
How much training?
There
How
we go.
much training do you need to be a welder? Is that the question?
Yes, that's the question. Yep, I'm seeing nods. Yep.
Well, a lot of high schools have vocational programs for entry-level welding, as well as a lot of vocational schools have 1 or 2 year welding programs. Either one of those would suffice as a good starting base to come in for us. And additionally, we do train. If you have a good base background and knowledge of welding, then we can develop you for our own specific needs here as well. So,
yep.
Does that answer your question?
Show hands or wave. Yep, I see. Good.
All right.
Great, great. Well, guys, we're so thankful to have you Zoom in. We're going to have to roll into our next host manufacturer, and thank you for all that you're doing to Zoom into classrooms around the state of Missouri. We have over 8,000, maybe close to 10,000 students that will be on board throughout the day, and so it's great to have Swisher a part of that. And we'll keep your video so we can keep sharing it all throughout the year. Thanks
Sounds
again,
good.
guys,
Thank
for
you.
coming in, Chris and Ken.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Yep. All right. Next, I'd like to move on into our next segment. And before we do, Chris and Ken mentioned, how do you get trained? How do you get upskilled to, become a welder or work in production? And there's some great opportunities. In fact, the Missouri Chamber, with our Missouri 2030 plan about 5 years ago, launched a strong workforce effort with our Intern Connect and now an Apprentice Connect portal. These companies around the state of Missouri and you as students can access different types of pathways. So if you're in higher education, you can find internships around the state. If you want to go into apprenticeship pathway and work in production, work in welding as a CNC operator or anything else, even in technology, in IT, in computer cybersecurity, you can find an apprenticeship program in the state of Missouri. Let's find out a little bit more about that. So both portals, Intern Connect and Apprentice Connect, are live. You can go online right now and search for them, or go to the MissouriChamber.com webpage and find out them directly. And if you're building your profile or you're a business that needs help putting your profile up there, Kelly Dyer, our business manager, is dedicated to helping you. And both portals are a partnership with the Missouri Department of Higher Education and Workforce Development. We're glad to partner with the state and promote internships and apprenticeships to all. Next, we're going to transition into Polytainer. Out in Lee Summit, Polytainer has provided industry-leading plastic packaging to customers for more than 50 years. And during COVID-19, they had to pivot and provide more food containers like yogurt cartons and much, much more. So before we see and zoom into Polytainer, remember, as you're watching on Zoom, if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A box, or if you're on Facebook Live, please leave a comment or question in the comment box. With that, let's zoom into Lee Summit to Polytainer.
Welcome to Polytainers. We are a growing manufacturer of rigid plastic packaging for the food and dairy industry, employing highly skilled professionals in all aspects of our company. Between our two facilities in the U.S. and Canada, we operate over 120 machines across nearly 500,000 square feet. As a value-driven organization, we are committed to providing a work environment in which creativity, job enrichment, and diversity are celebrated and rewarded through compensation, rewards and recognition programs, and personal development opportunities.
At Polytainers, we recognize that our competitive advantage is centered around our people. We believe in creating high-performance teams that support our continuous improvement culture. We have a wide variety of opportunities available to join our growing team. We encourage you to visit our website to view our current openings at www.polytainersinc.com.
Wow, exciting to see all that goes on over there in Lee Summit at Polytainers. And I know when COVID-19 hit, they had to really ramp up because they had high demand for trying to get really good food out to market. So us at home, we had those resources available too. Hey, I'd like to, it looks like we got the whole Polytainer team there. And I see Glenn Watson, Senior Manager of Human Resources at Polytainer. Glenn, welcome to Manufacturing Day 2020. So happy to have you here. And
hello, Brian. How are you today?
You have the shop floor. Glenn, it is all yours, and we'll funnel some questions to you through the Q&A box.
All right, no, it's definitely thank you for having us, and welcome to everyone today. We're so happy to be here on this platform. We're happy at Polytainers. This is our 4th year participating in Manufacturing Day. Unfortunately, as everyone knows, this year we couldn't have students here. Typically, we have hundreds of students here visiting the site, but we're very excited to be participating in this event. Got several members of the team here. Obviously, we're social distancing, obviously with everything, but very excited. I'll turn over to some other members of the team for them to introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about Polytainers.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tim Scott. I'm the Director of Operations here at Polytainers, and thank you for having us, and we're excited to be here. Go ahead, Ryan.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Ryan Guzman. I am the molding manager here at Polytainers. A little bit about the molding department, as you've seen in the video. We are a fast-paced environment. We manufacture plastic containers, cups, and lids for essentially for the dairy industry. But we utilize a multitude of different technologies to accommodate this. As you can see on the table here, we got some parts. And then on the molding side, I'm responsible, or my team is responsible for producing the actual part itself. As you can see, we have a clear lid or a clear cup that there's no artwork on it. And we have containers that have artwork put on it. We have 3 different technologies, which is our IML technology is in mold labeling. That's where these parts are produced with the labels on them as the process is happening. We have our blank cups and our lids that are in our injection hall, or what we call our old hall, that produce parts for our customer, which is the printing department, which Bill will get to here in a few minutes. We have 33 machines on the floor. We have the capability of producing up to 6 million parts per day. We go through about 3 million pounds of resin in a month. So we utilize different technologies. As you see in the video, we have robot applications, utilizing 3 different robot services or companies, equipment, if you will, which are Mueller, Waldorf, and CBW. So there's a lot going on here. We're looking for future team members that are wanting to come in and have a challenge and make Polytainers great. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to Mr. Bill.
Thank you, Brian. I'm Bill Oxley, and I run the printing department here at Polytainers. And you see, at Polytainers, we're proud of our team, and like any good team in Kansas City today, we're all wearing red. So like everybody should be. In the printing department, we can run product from 4-ounce containers like this small all the way to 5-pound containers like this size. The small ones, 4 and 6-ounce containers, we can produce over 10 cups a second. And we produce the larger ones at up to 100 cups per minute. So the printing department, we put 3 to 5 million finished parts in our warehouse every day. And our warehouse turns over that 3 to 5 million every 3 to 4 days. So our warehouse that Jamie behind me here is in charge of, is about a quarter of our building. So we can't produce a whole lot of parts and give it to him. He'll run out of room a lot. So when we go through, we do, like he said, we have in-mold labeling that decorates parts. We also do dry offset printing. These are all printed on printing presses in the printing department. And that's because when Brian's done with it, normally, like he said, it's undecorated. So we could fill up, all the grocery stores with cups that look like that, but then you'd have to go and not know what you were buying. So we have to decorate it with, vanilla yogurt, mascarpone, or cookie dough. When COVID hit, one of the things about plastic containers is we've always considered ourselves kind of economy proof. When there's a recession or like when COVID hit, when the restaurants shut down, we quit selling the big cups a little bit, but our small cup volume went through the roof. And it goes like that. If the economy takes a dip, we are always looking for more people because more people are eating at home. And then when the economy is great, we're still looking for more people because the restaurants are booming and they need more of our parts too. So I'll turn it over to Jamie Booth.
Sounds good.
Hello,
Thank you.
I'm Jamie Booth. I'm the warehouse manager. I started at Polytainers in 1996, and I've been in charge of the warehouse for the last 4 years now. So,
Jamie, can you move up a little bit just so we can hear you? Without ruffling the social distancing too much. There you go.
Where did I lose you? Do I need to start? Do I need to go back a little bit? Is that better? Actually, I'm done, so unless there's any questions.
Well, I think what Jamie's story is that it's just really kind of talking about opportunities here at Polytainers. There are so many stories. Jamie is a living example of just one of the many people here at Polytainers that have started here with us as an organization and have grown their careers. Jamie's a member of our management team, and there's many others that have taken on where they've jumped into the management team or went into some of our skilled trades. There's so many opportunities for people to do that here at Polytainers.
You know, Glenn, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because that's one of the things that's, you know, it's kind of a myth out there that, you know, you don't start with one company and stay with them for very long. You jump from company to company to company. And that's not the case always with manufacturing. You get in the door and you can show the skill set, you can show the talent and the capability that you have, and you can work your way up into management or in any other area that you want. Well, Glenn, we have some questions. We're going to go live to a few folks there for you to handle their questions. We have a young man, Gavin, who would like to ask you a couple questions. And Gavin, if you go ahead and go live there and unmute and ask your question to Glenn and the team.
How much plastic do you make a day? Or how much plastic do you use a day? I mean,
On an average day, Gavin, we will use anywhere from 95 to 130,000 pounds of plastic on the molding side.
thank you.
Welcome.
Any other questions, Gavin, that you have?
No.
Doing good?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you for zooming in. We do have, we're going to move over to Miss Wendler's class to ask a question. Okay, she can't go in live, but her question is this. What do you do with the wasted materials?
Yeah, we sell all our plastic scrap to a company in St. Joseph, and they use that plastic to make other manufactured parts. So, yeah, we don't want any of our plastic that doesn't have to go into the landfill. We're all about sustainability and keeping our environment clean.
That's great. And actually, I see Mrs. Wendler's class live, and we're going to zoom to them. Do you have a question you'd like to ask?
What were you going to do with the waste materials?
Yep. And it sounds like they ship them over to St. Joseph, Missouri, where they use them in the production process over there.
Okay.
Hey, on that, Glenn, where do you guys get your plastic from? Is it sourced here in Missouri, or does it come from another location?
You know?
Yeah, most of our plastic material comes from Texas, actually.
Yeah.
I'd say 60% of it comes from Texas, and the other 40% of it comes from Canada.
And guys, is any of that recycled? We had a question just stream in. Is any of that recycled?
Yeah, all of the plastic that we produce is recyclable.
And do you use any recycled materials, or because it's a food container, you have to have an
Yeah.
original?
You want to go? I mean,
Yeah, so like you said, Brian, being a part of the food industry, we cannot use those kinds of resins in our process. So it does have to be clean, 100% clean.
Great. Hey, we have a couple other questions that are coming through on the feed. What's the hardest job there at Polytainer?
Printing manager.
Nice. And then another question, what does poly mean?
Yeah, poly it means plastic. So you've got like polystyrene on your styrene cups. These are all polypropylene or polyethylene resin beads that make these plastics. So poly is a word that really just means plastic. So poly containers as plastic containers.
Got it. Great. I didn't know that either. So good question posed by some of our students out there. Well, hey, guys, it's been a pleasure to have you Zoom in live with us for Manufacturing Day 2020. We're going to have to roll to our next segment. Thank you for all you do to produce the containers that help keep the products on the shelves at our store so we can enjoy that wonderful yogurt and other types of material, other food that we want to eat. So thanks, Glenn and the team. Appreciate you being on.
Thank you.
We just wrapped up our next hour, going into our next hour. Sorry, wrapped up our second hour, going into our third hour of Manufacturing Day 2020. And I'm Brian Krause. I'm the Vice President for the Missouri Chamber Manufacturing Alliance that's bringing you this program in partnership with Missouri Enterprise, the Missouri Department of Higher Elementary and Secondary Education, as well as our presenting sponsor, BKD CPA and Advisors. So as we roll into our third hour, we're excited because we're going into Lebanon to Emerson. We're going to stay right here in Jeff City to Apla, and we're going over to St. Louis for Pfizer. So as we begin our third hour, I'd like to just say thank you once again to our presenting sponsor, BKD, our gold sponsor, Toyota Missouri and Walmart. And Walmart, you'll hear from a little bit later, as we heard from Toyota earlier. Our silver sponsor, Nike Air Manufacturing Innovation and State Technical College in Lynn. And then our supporters, Catalan, the Chamber Benefit Plan, Lebanon Regional Economic Development Incorporated, the National Tool and Machining Association of St. Louis, Missouri, the Boeing Center for Supply Chain Innovation at Washington University, and Watlow. Thank you to our sponsors. Now, as we go into our next segment with Emerson, I'd like to just remind those that are coming on board for the first time, if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A of your Zoom, or if you're joining us live on Facebook, put your questions in the comment box. We'll try to get to them as soon as we can. With that, I'd like to go and zoom into Lebanon and showcase some of the best and the brightest that Emerson produces and how automated their facilities are. Emerson is a global company based in St. Louis with production all over. Let's see how Emerson innovates right here in Missouri, and then we're honored to zoom in Mike Train, President and CEO of Emerson, after we end the tour. Let's see what's inside.
Today, we're getting a behind-the-scenes look into a manufacturing plant of Emerson, a global technology and engineering company headquartered in St. Louis, Missouri. One of our many products is our Copeland scroll compressors, found in the air conditioners you might have at home or at school. This innovative technology is key to keeping your air conditioning unit up and running to help you stay cool indoors. We've sold tens of millions of these compressors around the world. Our air conditioning compressors are made at Emerson's manufacturing plant in Lebanon, Missouri. Here we have hundreds of team members who collaborate and contribute to making this critical product. Our team members follow Emerson's values, which guide us in how we work and engage with one another. One of these values is safety, something we take seriously. Our factory is state-of-the-art. We work with automated robotics like these fast-moving robot arms. Our teams work hard to keep things moving safely and quickly. Our factory is like a busy city. We even have traffic. Now let's go down the line and see how the compressors are made from start to finish. Each day, we strive to make 15,000 compressors. In 1 year, that adds up to about 3 million compressors. Because of this, it truly takes a community of dedicated team members, plus advanced technology to get all the parts assembled into the final product. Here, you'll see our technology in action. We have nearly 200 robots helping to move the process along in an efficient manner. Emerson is a proud leader in advanced manufacturing and is committed to helping the next generation develop skills and passion in technology. In fact, we recently donated $500,000 to the Center for Advanced Manufacturing at Ozarks Technical Community College. Our team members work hand in hand with robotic arms to carry the compressors towards the finish line. It's time to put on the finishing touches. Our team members label each compressor, then pack them up to head off to our warehouse. From there, the final product will be shipped to customers across the United States and around the globe.
Wow, it's great to see inside Emerson down in Lebanon, Missouri. It's such a wonderful facility, and really it is one of the most innovative and automated facilities I've been in recent years. And it's great to have with us today the global president and CEO for Emerson, Mike Train. Mike, I can see you zooming in live. Welcome to Manufacturing Day 2020, and thanks so much for being a part of it.
Hey, Brian, thanks for having me here. This is really great. And thanks to all for the opportunity to participate in Manufacturing Day. This is our day. This is a great day. We really appreciate the ability to talk to you about our company and our facility in Lebanon, but maybe more importantly, just how critical it is to have people like our students today who can think about having a career in manufacturing. I think that's what's really exciting about the day. So let me start off by just sharing a little bit about the company, a little bit of background. So Emerson was founded in 1890 in St. Louis, basically when electricity was the big new thing, right, back then. And since then, we've grown to really become one of the leading technology and manufacturing companies in the world. Our business is focused on two platforms. One is called Automation Solutions, and one is Commercial and Residential Solutions. And we produce a wide range of very high-tech, industrial, commercial, and consumer products that are used in everyday life. We have more than 200 plants around the world, just like the one you saw in Lebanon. So very, very big fleet of manufacturing. Before we talk about that facility in the video, and some maybe even had the opportunity to visit last year to our facility, I want to say thank you for being interested again in a career in manufacturing. Our company is passionate about STEM, science, technology, engineering, math, and looking ahead to the next generation of great problem solvers like all of you who will carry our company and our industry into the future. And the wonderful thing about working in our industry is the incredible diversity of skill sets and the jobs that you can pursue based on your interests and your preparation. It's led by our factory floor operators, our schedulers, our accountants, our human resource leaders, supply chain managers, our salespeople who work directly with customers every day to solve their problems, and highly skilled technicians all across the business. There are many paths to a successful career in manufacturing. Across the manufacturing industry, we're looking at nearly 2 million available positions over the next decade that are going to be tough to fill. So students like yourselves and events like this are really so important to ensure we can produce essential products that people need every single day. So let me talk a moment about our Lebanon, Missouri Emerson Climate Technologies plant you saw in the video. We have approximately 950 employees at our facility in Lebanon, and it's pretty evenly split between females and males. The facility was built in 1990, so we're celebrating our 30th anniversary this year, which is terrific. As you saw in the video, Emerson Climate Technologies produces more than 3 million scroll compressors annually at that Lebanon plant for the residential air conditioning market. Our Copeland brand scroll compressors are highly energy efficient technology, and they really form the heart of all types of air conditioning, refrigeration systems that you might see in a grocery store, on truck trailers, and other industrial manufacturing systems. Our Lebanon plant builds very high quality products and really takes care of our customers while making sure we operate safely and responsibly. And I want to thank Keith Calhoun and our entire Lebanon team for all they do for Emerson. You know, my own personal career path into manufacturing started when I was 18 years old. And I worked at a General Motors car assembly plant as an engineering intern. And I loved everything about that manufacturing process. You know, it's the urgency to meet the demand of customers, the daily challenges that pop up and they need to be solved, the teamwork with others, and the satisfaction of building a great product that really makes a difference in the world. I went on to become an electrical engineer, and you know, I had the opportunity to both work in manufacturing facilities and also to work on product designs. So I got to do both sides of the engineering world. You know, eventually I found my way to Emerson and moved into management positions in different parts of the company. So, you know, every one of the 80,000 plus employees of Emerson has their own story of how they found manufacturing, or maybe how manufacturing found them. And there is a strong passion here for what we do every day. Before I take questions you may have, and we do want questions, when the time comes to look for jobs, please visit our career page at emerson.com/careers. And we'd love to hear from you about our STEM campaign on our website and on our YouTube channel. And please strongly consider manufacturing as a great destination for you in the future. Talk to your parents, talk to your counselors, check out your future education options that will help you build those critical skills to make you valuable in the manufacturing world. There was a reference in the video to Ozarks Technical Community College, and you know, we have Rankin Technical College here in St. Louis, and there's so many other great 2-year and 4-year education options across the state. All right, Brian, let's take some questions.
Hey, Mike, great. You touched on one, and we had a question come through the feed. I'd really like you to, you know, what for you makes a valuable team member? What skills are you looking for as a valuable team member at Emerson?
You know, I think there's several ways to answer that question. You know, one is the teamwork, the team aspect, working together, collaborating together, you know, all of that kind of team dynamics, really important. You know, I think people need, you know, they need to get their work done. Obviously, we have people working hard. You know, you've got to be willing to speak up and speak your minds. You know, we want to use the collective brain power of everybody in the organization. And I think, you know, the willingness to keep learning. And I still experience that in my career today. You know, we're always looking to learn. I think the more you learn, having that real appetite for curiosity and figuring things out and learning more, trying different jobs, different roles, kind of getting a broad kind of opportunity to do different things. I think that's what makes, you know, the members here really valuable, and they really perform well when they work together.
Great. Well, that segues into a couple questions we have by students around the state. Our first question is Gabe. Gabe, if you want to go ahead and unmute your voice and then ask Mike a question you have about Emerson.
How many members do you have?
So Gabe, globally, we have over 80,000 employees. North America is probably around the 25,000 mark, something like that. That would be in this region. But we really operate all around the world because we have customers all around the world. We tend to have operations, relatively close to them so that we can serve their needs and be responsive to them. So it's a great question.
Fantastic. Thank you. And thank you, Gabe, for coming in. Next, we have Colby. Colby has a question. We're going to zoom in, Colby.
Yeah, my question was, how'd you get the name Emerson?
How did I say again?
How did you get the name Emerson for the company?
Mike, did you hear that? How did you get the name Emerson as a company?
So how did I find Emerson?
Yeah, like how'd you get the name for your company? Like Emerson. Yeah.
So the history of Emerson is it was founded in 1890. Two people basically, one who had the idea and the vision and we'll say the technology thought, and then somebody with the money. So the person with the money was named Emerson. They got to name the company basically. Great question.
Thanks, Colby. And Colby, what school do you go to?
County Army.
All right, fantastic. Well, welcome aboard. Mike, we got another question that came through. You mentioned about how many production facilities, over 200 production facilities. Somebody wanted to know, do all your plants have that many robots as you saw in Lebanon?
I would say Lebanon is very automated. You saw a lot of robots there. But I would say, in today's world, or around the world, in all of our plants, there are degrees of automation and robotics that are being deployed. So, we try to use it where it makes sense, where you need that repeatability, so that the quality is there. But there's still a lot of people that also work on our facility. So it's a balance. It's a balance of the automation, the robotics. And then, of course, then you need people with the skill sets to take care of all those robots. And programming is a very big skill set. Obviously, you need to be able to work with mechanical things. We have fluids in some of our plants, if you need to test with gases or liquids or whatever. So, from a kind of a broad engineering perspective, we need all forms of engineering to make these facilities run.
Great. Thanks, Mike. We got another question that's coming through Facebook right now. What is the average salary of an employee at the Lebanon plant? Do you happen to know that, Mike?
I don't happen to. I'm sure it's very competitive, and I'm sure it's very good because people stay with us for their careers. And, again, they may have an entry-level opportunity initially, but then they progress and they get those increasing opportunities, for the job and for the pay and everything else that goes with it. So I think we do very well in Lebanon.
Great. We have a teacher that just sent us a question, and they want to know from your perspective, you mentioned STEM. How do you feel STEM is important to, the students and why they should maybe pay attention to STEM in the classroom?
Yeah, well, we advocate STEM from very early ages onward. We really need to develop that curiosity, that appetite, and the skill sets around science. We saw in your prior presenter, talking about plastics, so the chemistry around doing plastics, technology, and maybe more recently, a lot more software type of skill sets. Engineering, just the way things work and how we make them improve as we go forward. And then, of course, kind of the foundationals around mathematics. Just there's so much math in the business, whether it's if you're the salesperson, you're doing math. If you're in finance, you're doing math. If you're on the factory floor running a machine, you're doing math. I mean, there's a lot of mathematics. So really making sure that students really invest, let's say, in their own personal development of those skills is really important and can be really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and we support STEM here at the Missouri Chamber through our Math and Science Coalition, some of our programs that we do. So it really is, it keeps students in a good trajectory for whatever job they come across in the future. So absolutely. Yeah. We had another question that came across to you. How has Emerson shifted with COVID-19? How has it affected your business?
You know, it was really interesting for us as a global manufacturer. We first got impacted with our China operations, which we have, and then it went to Northern Italy, you know, and then eventually made its way to the US, Canada, Mexico. And so we've really had to manage it all over the world. You know, we provide a lot of critical infrastructure items, you know, valves and instruments and control systems, and things are really important to the COVID response. We actually provide the control system for a lot of the pharmaceutical manufacturing facilities that are right now working on those next vaccines that are coming. We have a lot of equipment that goes directly into the respirators that you read about as they were trying to build those up. So, you know, we've had to make sure our facilities could operate. We've deployed a lot of, obviously, sanitation and temperature checking and separation, and you know, so we've had to deploy all of those strategies to keep our facilities up and running. We've been really fortunate. We really haven't had a major issue, but it's out there. That virus is tricky, and it's there, and every day we gotta fight to make sure we stay open.
So has it impacted any of your supply chain at all that feeds into you?
And now we're good, but initially, you know, when we saw some of the processes, like the government's responding with lockdowns, it absolutely did affect the supply chain. And we had to all work together to sort of communicate what we needed and collaborate. Sometimes it was government to government, company to government, other companies working together in an industry. The collaboration was amazing, actually. It was really a great example of the way people can come together.
Well, and that's so true to a team environment. When you have your suppliers connected to you in such a way, they're part of your team.
Absolutely.
They help you just as much as you help them.
Absolutely.
We have a couple other questions that just came through. What other companies do you work with to get your parts?
So we have, in the supply chain that we probably have 50,000 plus suppliers. We got suppliers all over North America, all over the world. So we got lots and lots of companies. And of course, then within our industry, we collaborate around what the technical solution should look like. So for example, right now, these compressors that we're featuring in Lebanon, you know, they are highly technical, they're energy efficient. They also operate on what's called a refrigerant, the thing that does the cooling, if you will. And there's standards changes where the refrigerants are going to low greenhouse gas refrigerants. And so the systems designs will have to change, and we're having to innovate with our customers and with our suppliers to see what that next generation of that whole system will look like going forward. So a lot of collaboration in the industry.
Great. We have one more question, one last question that came in, Mike. How many units do you produce in a week?
So in Lebanon itself, we talked about the 3 million per year. But again, we have the 200 plus factories. You know, in some facilities, we make 1 or 2 or 3 million units of something. In other facilities, it's a much lower volume, but maybe it's a much bigger creature, if you will, that we work on. I actually don't know the answer to the question. I don't know how many units we produce across everything we do at Emerson. It's a massive number, I'm sure.
So my question to you before we have to zoom out of here is, what is the most favorite thing that you produce there at Emerson? What's your favorite part, if you had to say?
You know, that's like saying which one of my children is my favorite. That is a hard one. But I am really partial to some of the instrumentation we do, the things that measure pressure and temperature, and we use radar to measure level. And you know, just as an electrical engineer, I get into those things. I love those. But I love our compressors. I can't say anything against my compressors. I love our control systems. I love some of the tools we produce and so forth. So I love all of them.
Wow, that's great, Mike. Well, we appreciate you being here. Any last words you'd like to impart on the students before we move on to our next manufacturer for the segment?
No, stay curious. Keep talking to your teachers. Keep you know, if you get opportunities to visit other manufacturing facilities, take advantage of that. And again, really strongly consider what your educational opportunities and options are as you go forward. There's some great options here in Missouri.
Fantastic. Mike, thank you so much for being a valued member of the Missouri Chamber and coming to us live for Manufacturing Day 2020. We're so excited to have Emerson as a partner in this, and we'll be sure to keep you in touch and showcase Emerson going through the year to all these students in their classrooms and across the state and virtual.
Hey, Brian, great. Manufacturing Day, I love it.
Absolutely.
Take care.
We'll see you.
Thank you.
You know, one of the things that Mike hit on as we transition is STEM. You know, the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And as students, it is such a vital knowledge piece that you pick up from your teachers, from your parents, from individuals out there. Because the reality is, we're in a new era where technology and science really drive what we do as a civilization and as society. And it was mentioned a little bit earlier about manufacturing industry 4.0. And you saw some of that live with Emerson in the automation that they have in their plants with the robotic systems. And, you know, if you had to sit there and think of all the technology that goes into the production of some of those condensers at Emerson, you would find all kinds of mathematical principles, chemistry, metallurgy, and the technologies to make it all work. And so, you know, STEM is very important. We see it day in and day out. We're going to hear more about it as we move on through our program. Now, I'd like to introduce our next manufacturer that's going to showcase what they do right here in Jefferson City. APLA is a family-owned plastics manufacturing business that has global impact. Their Jefferson City plant creates plastic containers for personal hygiene and consumables, many that you probably have around your house. So with that, we're going to showcase APLA, and then we're going to do some polling to see what you think and where you are in your mind with manufacturing. Let's roll it.
Before we get into the roles and responsibilities, let's talk about the company culture. Because while you may experience different roles during your career at APLA, you will always be part of the same family. And family values run deep here. In 1955, APLA was started as a family business, and it remains a family-owned business today. We view every single member of our staff as part of the family and therefore part of our success. For this reason, our values and principles are focused not only on the success of our customers, but on the success of our people. To truly be successful means being motivated to continuously improve personally and professionally, and encouraged to achieve our shared goals. Perhaps most importantly, we believe success is enjoying a quality of life at APLA and away from work. So what about the role that you might be performing? What does it take to be successful as a packaging operator, machine operator, maintenance technician, or mold setter at APLA? Perhaps the best way to describe these roles is to let the people that do them tell you. Let's go take a look.
So as a maintenance tech, what do you do?
I do preventive maintenance on the machines when things are slow. I look at the machine to fix problems that I see before they happen to make sure that we keep running. And it's working with my hands a lot.
Well, my day starts at 4 o'clock. I come in, look at the planning, and find out what machines are due for a mold change. Then me and a team of 4 will go in and perform the mold change, which we will take out the molds, bullpen blocks, testing units, and replace them with the ones that are due to run that day.
When I first come in, before we can go on the floor, we put on our safety equipment, our eyeglasses, earplugs. Then I come out here, I check my bottles, make sure they're good. I get my paperwork ready because we have a checklist that we check every day. I weigh them up, everything looks good, let them go down the line. If not, I make a correction if there's anything wrong with them.
I work on the production line. We put the boxes on the end, which is corrugated, and the machine made the boxes, and it go down the line. Then the insert drops in the box. The bottle packer drops the bottles in the boxes. I check my bottles on the line, make sure running good bottles.
What do you feel that Alpla does to reward you for your work?
If you come up with any ideas, they'll give you $100 if they use your idea.
Well, they give us a fantastic Christmas party. We have a picnic every year. We have incentive programs where we get little bonus checks for doing our job. And they're quick to tell us when we do a good job. And I like it here.
I love my job. Alpha's been good to me the 14 years I've been here. They respect me, I respect them, and I give them 100% of all my abilities.
I enjoy it because I'm always learning something new. More hands-on, never a dull moment, and always busy.
So I understand you've had a couple different positions here at Alpla. Would you like to tell us what those were?
Yes, I started out in packaging. I worked that position for about 9 months. I was promoted to lead packaging. Did that for a couple of years. Then I was promoted to machine operator, which I was more hands-on with maintaining the process of the bottle. Then I was promoted from that to the mold team, dealing with setting up the machine, where the process is stable to pass on to the operators.
To be successful in these roles, you need to thrive on challenging yourself and not require close supervision. You should expect to learn several jobs and be comfortable moving between teams. All of these roles require you to be quality conscious and safety aware. You need good reading and math skills and be comfortable working around computers. If you're excited about joining a company that supports your growth and development and rewards exceptional performance with benefits and advancement, and you're confident in your ability to perform these roles, then we're excited to accept your application. You will find few companies as committed to creating a great work environment by providing opportunities for education and advancement, financial and health benefits, community involvement, employee camaraderie, family activities, and more for a fulfilling work-life balance.
It's great to see inside Apla, which is one of really a hidden gem. In fact, if you've reached for body lotion in Dove or Axe shampoo, more than likely by Unilever, it was produced, the container was produced by Apla. So great partnership, and they work together to bring the goods into your home each day. So we're going to pause here and go to a poll. If you can look at the question before you and see, and then answer it either as a class or individually, manufacturing in Missouri contributes how much a year to our state's economy? 20 million, 4.1 billion, 22 billion, 39.8 billion, or 730 million. We'll go ahead and leave our poll up for a little bit. Go ahead, take your time and sign on to the poll. All right, our answer is coming through right now. And it looks like about 7% went with 20 million, 27% went with 4.1 billion, 29%, 22 billion, 27% for 39.8 billion, and 9% for 730 million. Well, the answer is $39.8 billion is what we have in manufacturing to our state's economy. It's almost 12% of our state's GDP, or gross domestic product. And so when you think about what manufacturing contributes to Missouri on an economic basis and why Governor Parson is so dedicated to infrastructure and talent development to help manufacturing in the state of Missouri, you can see why. It contributes a great deal of our economic revenue. And you know, one thing about manufacturing, it's not about some of the large companies that produce. In fact, a lot of our small companies do an amazing job of producing goods. In fact, 85% of the exports of manufactured goods in the state of Missouri are from small and medium-sized manufacturers. And those typically are 0 to 100 employees and 101 to 500 employees. So when you think about manufacturing in Missouri, it's very diverse, and there's both small, medium, and large employers that produce some of the best goods, from anything from an F-15 to a vaccine for smallpox to what's in your refrigerator with yogurt. So we're going to go ahead and showcase some of your efforts. We roll a Missouri video competition that's Show Me Manufacturing. What's so cool about manufacturing? And this past year, we had about 5 teams competing in the final round, going toe-to-toe with their video. And one of the winners is with us today, and that is Bourbon High School in Bourbon, Missouri. We're going to go ahead and showcase their video right now.
So Paramount Apparel is located in Bourbon, Missouri. We have been a family-owned business since 1929. We originally started as a fully USA-made facility. We had 13 different plants, all in rural towns in the state of Missouri. We're also a very large silkscreen operation as well as direct-to-garment printing. Paramount houses 5 unique divisions within the company. The promotional products division deals with doing shirts and caps for corporate America. We have our branded apparel division, which deals with Nike, Fanatics, Wrangler, larger stores like that. We have our Imperial division, which is focused on golf. We have our outdoor group, which is everything camo essentially. So think Mossio, Realtree. We do also carry our own house brands, I guess is the word for it, EHG and EFG. And then we also have our retail division, which has Ben Sherman, True Religion, Keds, and a lot of your larger retail outfits.
Our mission at Paramount Apparel is we create consumer products that embellish and enrich people's lives. We use those values in our manufacturing process, which starts when we receive an order. Our materials department pulls that order out of a vast number of inventory. It then goes into production, where it gets screen printed. Then it goes on into our packing department, who adds a hang tag, a size strip, a hanger maybe, just depends on what the customer wants. Once it's in a box, it moves on into our shipping department, who then direct ships or ships to customer warehouses. When you're watching the players in their victory game put on their cap or put on their shirt, we created that here at Paramount Apparel. We do what's called a promo for the team in advance. So each team gets a promo, and that promo goes to them. They have it in their locker room ready to go. The winning team gets to put it on. And so when you see the after-game interviews, they're wearing product that was manufactured here at Paramount Apparel.
What we're doing here is taking someone's art or their vision of something, and then we're putting it on a garment that people would like to wear. You won't find anybody sewing a shirt together or anybody, sewing a hat. It's all about what can we do to take this blank garment and make it look better. There's a sense of pride. I mean, you take a blank shirt and maybe you didn't make the art on the shirt, but you're responsible for taking someone's image and putting it into a physical form, and there's a ton of pride in that.
Congratulations once again to Bourbon High School for winning our 2020 Missouri Manufacturing Show Me Video competition. They did a phenomenal job And at the tail end of finishing up their videos when COVID happened to come into America and they had to go into a virtual environment, they persisted and got it across the finish line with our 4 other finalists. So congratulations to Bourbon. And Paramount Apparel, you guys did a great job showcasing how you produced the garments that field our teams and that we use each and every day, either if it's out there on the lake or hunting or just hanging out at the ball field. Thank you so much for being part of our competition. We'll have more information on the competition coming up in the next couple months on our MissouriChamber.com pages. So look for that. Now, we are excited to learn about a cutting-edge company working right here in Missouri. Pfizer has 2 locations in St. Louis. It's a leader in BioLife pharmaceuticals and vaccine production. In fact, when a COVID-19 vaccine is finalized, as Governor Parson had mentioned earlier, it could be manufactured right here in Missouri by Pfizer. Now, let's learn a little bit more about Pfizer as we showcase what they feel STEM is a critical role, and we'll roll that video.
At a time when things are most uncertain, we turn to the most certain thing there is: science. Science can overcome diseases, create cures, and yes, beat pandemics. It has before. It will again. Because when it's faced with a new opponent, it doesn't back down. It revs up, asking questions till it finds what it's looking for. That's the power of science. So we're taking our science and unleashing it. Our research, experts, and resources, all in an effort to advance potential therapies and vaccines. Other companies and academic institutions are doing the same. The entire global scientific community is working together to beat this thing, and we're using science to help make it happen. Because when science wins, we all win.
It's great to see that Pfizer is leading the charge to help protect us against COVID-19 and all that they do to keep us safe and healthy in any other given time of the year. Now, it is my privilege to welcome Dr. Paul Mensah, who's Vice President of Bioprocess Research and Development and Supply at Pfizer. As we pull Paul into the Zoom, I'd like to invite all our attendees today. If you have a question, please put it in the comment box or the chat box so we can answer any of the questions you might have, either in Zoom or Facebook Live. Paul, welcome to Manufacturing Day 2020. It is so great to have you here, and you're coming in crystal clear.
Thank you, Brian. It's really a privilege to be representing Pfizer here. I actually have my Science Will Win t-shirt. I'm not sure if you guys can see me or not, but clearly a privilege to join in. I just wanted to take the opportunity to really share some of the great work we are doing here in Missouri and across the country on the COVID-19 vaccine, because that's a critical part. I thought it would be, you'd be excited to hear about it, and we are doing some really amazing work to try to get this critical vaccine to humanity. We all need it. So next slide, please. So at Pfizer, we are really working at an unprecedented pace to develop and test an mRNA-based vaccine to prevent COVID-19. And we have manufacturing all over the place. We have about 28,000 colleagues in manufacturing, and we supply medicines to over 125 countries. In the biologics and the vaccines world, we have about 7,000 colleagues in 12 manufacturing sites and in 10 countries. And under normal circumstances, we make about 500 million doses of vaccines and medicines per year. But because of the pandemic, we have significantly increased our investment. And next year, we hope to make up to 1.2 billion of the vaccine, assuming that it all works out at the end. But it's really exciting time to be it, and the company is really committed to working to help humanity. Next slide, please. So how does the vaccine work? And I thought, I can't see it very well, but I thought I'd take the moment to explain to you what we are doing on the vaccine. So on the picture on the right, you have what we call the SARS-CoV-2 model. That's how the vaccine looks like. And the red things coming out of it are the spike protein. So most of the vaccines are working towards this spike protein, which we call the antigen. There are vaccines that are targeting just the receptor binding domain of the protein or targeting the whole spike protein. Our vaccine is targeting the whole spike protein, although we have some backups that also target the receptor binding domain. Next slide, please. So the manufacturing of it is really exciting. It's intense science, requires lots of engineering, lots of scientists, biologists, chemists, all of them are engaged in making this thing happen. It starts with finding the DNA of that spike protein. And that actual manufacturing happens here in St. Louis. We make the DNA template for the spike protein. And then we get into some kind of an enzymatic reaction where that DNA template is copied into an RNA. So the vaccine that we are making is an RNA vaccine. And after we make that, we purify it for drug substance. We combine it with lipids, and the lipids become the vehicle for which the RNA is inserted into it. So at the bottom right-hand corner of your distance, you really have this lipid nanoparticle with the RNA right in the middle of it. And then we purify it, and then it becomes really the bulk drug product. So what you have in the vial on the left is what people receive when they are getting the vaccine. Next slide. So what happens when you get the vaccine, right? What happens in your body when you have the vaccine? And so when you're given the vial, again, the lipid nanoparticles serves as the vehicle that takes it to the cells, right? Once inside the cell, you have an RNA, it then converts to make the antigen, which is the spike protein. That antigen presents itself on the surface of your cells, and then your body's immune response to that antigen, right? And so what you end up forming is you form that green antibodies, and then you have T cell response. Those are the ones that protect you from getting the virus. And so if you have those already established in your system, once you get the virus, the antibodies will go and target that spike protein and prevent it from getting into your cells. That's how vaccines work. And so right now, Pfizer is in phase 3 clinical studies trying to demonstrate the efficacy of this vaccine. And we hope sometime by the end of this year, we will get some results on that. Next slide, please. Now, this is our Chesterfield manufacturing site. Again, as I've said before, it is the site that we are making the DNA to start the whole process, but we are also doing release and stability testing for the plasmid, for the drug substance, and the final drug product in the vial right here at Chesterfield. We have about over 500 colleagues who are engaged in this important work. We recognize the importance of this vaccine to humanity. I need it, you need it, we all need it, and we have great people at Pfizer working on it, and we hope someday you will join us in making not necessarily this vaccine, but any future vaccine or biologics that humanity will need. So I wanted to give you this perspective so you have some basis for questions and answers. So thank you, Brian, for the opportunity to share just a brief slides on what we are doing here in Chesterfield, and now happy to take any questions.
Yeah, Paul, one question. How did you get in your path to where you are at research scientist at Pfizer? How did you get involved with that? What inspired you?
Well, I as a kid, I was debating between, do I become a doctor or do I go into a pharma industry? But I think really in the pharma industry, you have the potential to make a huge impact on society. We all need medicines, right? I have families who have disease like sickle cell disease and stuff that need medicines. And so for me, as a lifetime of achievement, to be working as part of a company that says, I helped make a drug that helps save your lives. It could be for my mother, it could be for my wife, it could be for my kid. There is nothing more empowering than that. And all of us are really at Pfizer are here because we are committed to making a huge difference in humanity.
That's great. And, I'm so excited that you're here and exactly what you're doing right there in Pfizer's in Missouri. We couldn't have a better partner in the fight against COVID than Pfizer. So we do have some students that have zoomed in. Paul, we're going to go ahead and go to Angel. Angel, if you can go ahead and unmute yourself, we'll go to you for a question.
I have a question. What are the stages of a vaccine?
Was your question, Angel, what are the stages of vaccine?
Yes.
Yes, so whenever you start any program, you start first by making the material in small lab studies, and then you do studies on animals, right? Just to make sure that it is safe. And then you submit that information all to the FDA, and they will tell you if what you've made and what you're planning to do is good enough to get into clinical trials. There are 3 phases of clinical trials. The first phase is phase 1, which is really to ensure that the vaccine is safe, and then you find the key dose to go. And then there's a next phase, which is phase 2, where you expand the data, the population a little bit more, and you are fixed on your ideal dose for it. And then you get into phase 3, where you go into multiple thousands of patients to ensure that the vaccine is efficacious and the vaccine is safe. And so for our COVID vaccine, we've gone through the phase 1, the phase 2 studies. We are currently in the phase 3 studies. We are aiming to give it to 44,000 patients. And as of this week, we've dosed over 35,000 patients. So based on that data, we will present, if it works, we'll present it to the FDA, and together they will look at the data and it's comprehensive and make a decision as to whether the vaccine is safe and efficacious for people to take.
Wow, great question, Angel, and great response. I learned so much there, Paul. We have another question, Alyssa. I see Alyssa there. If you want to go ahead and unmute and ask your question to Paul.
Hi, Alyssa.
My question is how many vaccines you make a day?
Well, you know, we make lots of vaccines a day. I mean, I think I'm quite confident you've taken one of our vaccines when you were a kid. We make Prevnar, right? For pneumococcal vaccine, almost all of us have taken that. Because the COVID vaccine is a pandemic, we are investing significantly to make enough for humanity. And no matter what we do, we'll never make enough for the billions of people around the world. Our goal is to try to make up to 200 million doses this year. And for next year, make up to 1.2 billion doses, right? So if it's successful, we hope to make enough, but even that will not be enough for the whole world. And so we'll continue to build on that next year and beyond.
Okay,
Great.
thank you.
Thank you, great question.
We have a Avila 8th grade classroom. We're going to go live to Avila. And if they want to go ahead and unmute their mic. I think you're still muted there on your end. If you want to go ahead and unmute your mic.
What other vaccines do you make?
Well, we make a vaccine called Prevnar for pneumococcal vaccine. It's Prevnar 13, and I'm confident that you've taken it as a kid, and adults take it when they're over 40 as well. We make a vaccine for meninge B, then called Trumember. That's also available. We are working on multiple other vaccines. We make a vaccine for RSV, or syncytial virus for pregnant women, that's currently in clinical trials. We are making multiple other vaccines and stuff like that right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Paul, we're going to drop down to the 6th grade class at Avila. We have them asking a question. And if you want to unmute your mic and ask Paul a question. Make sure that your laptop or computer is unmuted. Yep, I think you're still muted over there. Yep, there we go. Teacher's getting into the room. So Paul, you mentioned the production. Not all the production is going to occur in Chesterfield, correct? Some of it's going to go other places in the Pfizer Talent kind of system.
Yes, we just don't have enough capacity or enough people just at one Pfizer site to make all the vaccines that we need. So yes, we make so a key part of the work over here in Andover. We also have a manufacturing plant over there that we make the drug substance, and in Kalamazoo, we make the drug product. So the whole 3 sites in the U.S. are working together to make the vaccine for COVID-19. We also do make quite a bit in Europe as well. So we have plants in Europe that are also engaged in making the vaccine.
Fantastic. Abla, are you on? Still see that you're muted. All right, so their question is typed into the chat box. The question is, do you make animal vaccines?
Pfizer in the past used to make animal vaccines, but a few years back we spun out our animal health group to a company called Zoetis. And so right now, the current Pfizer does not make vaccines, as all our animal health work was transformed into another company called Zoetis.
And the other question we have that came through, Paul, what types of education do you need to work on the manufacturing production side of Pfizer?
Yeah, so we have broad experience, people with broad experience all over. We have people with high school degrees, but have lots of experience. We have people with technical associate degree, but with strong technical background. The majority have either a bachelor's, a master's, or a PhD, and it's either in the sciences, chemistry, biochemistry, biology, or chemical engineering. And so, but you know, we have Pfizer is a broad company, and even at our site, to do what we do, we need people in IT to support us. We need people in HR to support us. But the core of the people who are doing the manufacturing folks are usually technically based, scientific based background.
Fantastic. So, I mean, really, you could enter at Pfizer with an associate's degree, and then move up and if memory serves, Pfizer actually has some tuition reimbursement programs there.
Yes, we do. And a number of our colleagues at work actually still take classes and continue on the education as part of that.
Okay. We have somebody that's onboarding, but we do have a question by a student. Devin asked, how does the vaccine work? And you kind of went into it a little bit, but if you kind of just break it down.
Yes. So vaccines, unlike other medicines, you are giving it to healthy people. And the idea is that you give it to them to prime their body to prepare for the actual virus. And so what we do is we take a small part of the virus, in this case, the spike protein. We make the antigen for that. We make the DNA for that. We give it to you. Your body makes the protein, and then your immune system kind of reacts to it and primes for it. And so once you are primed, as soon as you get the virus, your body is already ready to fight it, right? And so in essence, for example, people who get the COVID vaccine, over time, they have lots of antibodies for them that could potentially prevent a second infection, potentially. And so what we are doing is giving you those antibodies at hand such that you don't get it at all the first time.
So it's almost like you're giving the body the actual virus, but you're supporting it with almost like the soldiers that are going to go to war with it, the antibodies in your system as well.
Yes. So some companies are actually taking the actual virus and inactivating it and giving it to us. That's not the approach we are taking. We are taking a small part of the virus, the spike protein. That's not infectious at all. And then using that to prime your body to fight the disease.
Wow, that's exciting. That's exciting. Well, Paul, I think we're getting close on our time for the day, and have to move into our next manufacturer. Any parting words of wisdom you'd like to give the students out there around the state of Missouri?
No, I think, first, Missouri is a great place to work. I moved here from Connecticut in 2003, and it's absolutely been wonderful to be here. I have a great family here, so I'm glad to be here. Science is critical. I think in all of these diseases, science will win. And the pharma companies really at the forefront of fighting critical diseases to help make humanity better. Our job, our purpose at Pfizer is to develop breakthroughs that make patients' lives. And for me and for many of my peers at Pfizer, there is no better purpose than to say that I helped work on a drug that helps save somebody's life. That's empowering. So I encourage all of you to consider science and consider Pfizer as a place to work. Thank you very much and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate all you're doing. And thanks for zooming in on Manufacturing Day 2020. We're grateful to have Pfizer with us and a proud member of the Missouri Chamber. Godspeed with your work there at Pfizer on getting that vaccine.
Thank you. Take care.
All right. Well, folks, we've seen from a wonderful listing of companies, but we're not done yet. We're actually going to move into our 4th hour of the program. And as we do, for those that are joining us new for the first time, my name is Brian Krause. I'm the Vice President of Education for the Missouri Chamber Manufacturing Alliance, and I'll be your host for this final hour of Manufacturing Day 2020. You're joining us from around the state via Zoom or Facebook Live, and throughout the program, we encourage you, if you have questions, please put them in the Q&A box on your Zoom and ask those directly to our speakers. Or if you're on Facebook Live, put it in the comment box, and we'll try to get to as many as we can for each manufacturer that's taking on board today. As we kick off our 4th hour, I'd like to just say thank you to all our supporting partners. You know, first off, this wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for the Missouri Chamber of Commerce, our partners, Missouri Enterprise, the Missouri Department of Higher Education and Workforce Development, the Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, as well as MoreNet, which is the backbone infrastructure for K-12 IT around the state. In addition, this program was developed in partnership with the National Association of Manufacturers. They started Manufacturing Day over 10 years ago to spotlight, to celebrate manufacturing across America. And it's been a pleasure to work with the NAM each step of the way. Also, our sponsors, BKD, CPA, and Advisors is our presenting sponsor. Our gold sponsor, Toyota Missouri and Walmart, which you'll hear from Walmart just shortly. Our silver sponsor, Nike Air Manufacturing Innovation in St. Charles, State Technical College in Lynn, Missouri. Our supporting sponsors, Catalan, Chamber Benefit Plan, Lebanon Regional Economic Development Incorporation, and the National Tool Machine Association St. Louis chapter, and the Boeing Center for Supply Chain Innovation at Washington University and Watlow. It is wonderful to have these supporting sponsors, but I'd like to highlight one of our sponsors because they have something that's relevant to you as a student right now where you are at. The St. Louis chapter, the National Tool and Machine Association of St. Louis, has a sponsored scholarship program. If you are interested in getting into manufacturing and have a passion for STEM, the NTMA St. Louis chapter can help you make it happen. Scholarships are available and the application process will open soon. So please go to the NTMA St. Louis chapter webpage and find out more about this scholarship. Students from around the state can learn about the wonderful world of precision manufacturing, robotics, and mechanical engineering. I'd like to remind everybody here today, if you have questions, put them in the Q&A so we can get to them as soon as possible. If you'd like to live zoom in, we'll unmute you and bring the question to our guests. If you have any questions on Facebook, please bring them into the comment section. And now, let's go into our first manufacturer of the 12 o'clock hour, and that is Boeing. Boeing in St. Louis is one of the world's best aerospace, defense, and aviation companies. And Boeing is the creator of the F-15 fighter jet, the largest dual-engine commercial passenger jet, the 777X, as well as several types of military and commercial aircraft. We're going to hear from a team at Boeing here shortly and see some of the dynamic technologies that they build day in and day out right there in St. Louis. With that, we're going to move it over to Boeing.
Hello, and welcome to Boeing St. Louis. My name is Randall Gelzer, Senior Director of State and Local Government Affairs here at the site. And I'm very excited to be joining you all on Manufacturing Day. And I'm also honored to have the opportunity to share with you some of the great products that we build here at Boeing St. Louis, but then also show you some of the manufacturing processes that we use to build these products. And then, most importantly, I'm excited to introduce you to some of our Boeing teammates here at the site that build these products. Later in the segment, I'm going to introduce you to Aaron, Joshua, and Shuan, and they're going to share with you what it's like to have a career in manufacturing here at Boeing. So let's start our journey. First, we're taking a look at some of these products.
This is from Boeing. This is the FA-18 Super Hornet.
Takeoff, runway heading, climbing to 10,500 and switching departure. Thanks for the help.
ABO commanding takeoff in 3, 2, 1, now.
Bulldog way up.
Now that we've seen some of the products, let's take a look at some of the manufacturing processes here at the site. To start, we're going to take a tour of Building 101, where we assemble the F-15, which is the model behind me here. And then we'll also see some of the assembly of the sheet metal aspect for this 777X, which you will see in this segment. Let's take a look inside 101. Well, now that we've taken a look inside 101, now we're going to go look at Building 245. Building 245 we broke ground on in 2016. It's over 424,000 square feet. And inside, you're going to see composite work that is done on the 777X. A little bit different than what you just saw. So let's take a look inside 245. Now that we've toured Building 245, we're going to transition now from our virtual tours to probably the most important segment, is meeting our teammates here at the site and having them tell you what it's like to have a manufacturing career at the Boeing Company. I'm going to introduce you now to Joshua, Aaron, and Shuan. All three work across the areas that we just virtually toured. So let's hear from them now about what their experiences are like in a manufacturing career.
My name's Aaron Foster. I've been working for the company for 5 years, and currently I am working on the ESBs. I'm installing bulkheads. I basically work on the guts and the bones of the aft portion of the aircraft. So I install bulkheads, and those are basically just frames. So that's what I do. Before the skins and everything get put on, I am working on installing the framework.
My name is Chuan Bonkungu. I've worked at Boeing for about 1.5 years now, and I work on the 777X fairings department as an assembly mechanic. On these fairings, we usually install highlights and high locks depending on the fairing, and then we also install seals and retainers. There's different parts of the fairing that we have to all put together. So this goes underneath the wings of the airplane, and normally these just carry like the wiring, electrical wiring for the plane, the wing. And yeah, so that's the main function of this fairing behind me right now.
My name is Joshua Clark. I work for Boeing. I've been here for just under 2 years. It'll be second year next month. And I'm a civil mechanic, and I specialize in composite fabrication. I typically work on the J panels, which are the front leading edge of the 777X, but this right here is the elevator, or the upper skin actually, and it combines and makes two different skins. So we start from basically scratch. We clean the tools, bring them back in, and then we lay each individual ply. We throw some adhesive in there, throw the core down, and then we throw more plies on top of it until we get done, and then we cook it.
I was first alerted about this program through a friend of my sister's. He let me know that this training program was open to the public, and so, you know, of course, I applied and went through the training course, passed the tests.
A family friend told us about it. Her daughter's school had sent out an email to all the seniors there. I was also a senior at the time, letting them know that there was an opportunity to apply to be an assembly mechanic at Boeing, and that there was a course at Slow Valley.
So I was in college, and I was presented the opportunity to go to the class by a mother's friend who works over in Building 300, so here I am.
I found it very valuable. Actually, some of the things that we learned, we actually haven't even used here yet, but I know that if I were to go to a different area, I would be well equipped to use them. But everything that I learned at that course prepared me for the training that I received once I got here.
Everything is hands-on. The instructors teach you how to operate certain tools, and it really, for me, everything is all about feel. Once I can get the feel of a drill motor and drilling through certain materials and objects, once I get a feel for everything, then I'm good to go. And that's what the training course did for me.
The class opened up the door because you don't really have the opportunity to do anything like this before you work here. You wouldn't really know much unless you actually did it. It's almost just like the building blocks for a very small scale to get you ready for doing something that's 30 feet long or 40 feet long.
Basically went from 0 to 100. So I went from practicing and training to actually working on the F-15. Right when I got in the door, it was me utilizing all of the skills that I've already learned in the past, as well as everything that I learned from the training course. Everything just kind of set in motion.
It's good to start somewhere, and I think this would be a great place to start. For me, I had never picked up a drill or any type of tool for building anything before, and the process is laid out in such a way that as somebody just starting new can be successful, like me, like myself. And then from there, there's so many. It's a great avenue to open up new doors in your career path you're seeking to pursue.
I just think there's many avenues. Boeing has their hand in so many different projects, and you know, even with Phantom Works, they have a lot of different programs that we don't know about. And so I do believe that Boeing is a great gateway to getting into aerospace because we have our hands in so many different, you know, programs.
Once you get in the door, you kind of have limitless opportunities. We have amazing benefits. Having work experience alone definitely can put you in different locations if you work hard enough.
They are definitely apt to developing and helping me to grow personally, from a personal standpoint, from an educational standpoint. You know, it seems like every so often I'm always being encouraged to go back to school or to get more schooling and training because Boeing pays for that. So
we have a Learning Together program, which I'm currently enrolled in. I'm going to UMSL to get my mechanical and structural engineering degree. And as well, they also have like programs for engineers, like groups that you can go to. So they have lots of support systems. Even my manager is a great is a great person to go to. He's been a big help as well.
Boeing does put us in the proper position to actually learn and grow, mainly because they teach us basically to follow the spec and to be punctual and a bunch of other things. We constantly get training courses on our computer-based training. You're always working on something new. You can easily get picked up and put somewhere else within the composites program to where you end up learning new things every time you work with a different set of people or a different set of tools.
The opportunities that Boeing provides is beyond any other company that I've ever worked for. Between that, the ability to grow within the company, I think that that's a major strong point here at Boeing. They encourage everyone to grow and learn, and if there's a specific career path you're trying to go down, they'll pair you up with a mentor if need be. If you're trying to get into management or engineering, they'll pair you up with someone who can actually set you down the right path.
Working for Boeing has been a dream since I was a child. I didn't know it would be in this early of my life, but Boeing has opened up plenty of doors.
I like what I do because I think I come to work every day challenged to do better than I was the day before. And I feel like I'm able to offer something good to my team and to the world also, because I'm not just impacting myself.
It's kind of having that pride, you know, having a sense of pride of the aircraft that I build. I mean, I know exactly what it does, and to me, that's what gives me a sense of joy and a sense of pride.
It's kind of surreal that you're building plane parts that's going to transport 500 people across the Atlantic Ocean.
I sometimes forget that just how big of an impact what I do here is, because I'm doing the same thing every day. But every once in a while, I'm reminded, yeah, that the work that I do is pretty valuable.
Thank you, Joshua, Aaron, and Shuan. We appreciate you sharing your experiences of having a manufacturing career. So for everyone, I hope you enjoyed seeing some of the products we make here at Boeing St. Louis, getting to see some of the manufacturing processes, and getting a taste of a manufacturing career here at Boeing. I wish you all the best. Again, thank you for having the opportunity to be with you on Manufacturing Day, and I hope you all have a good day.
Thank you, Randall and Team Boeing, for coming in on Manufacturing Day 2020. It's great to have your support and keeping us safe and getting us across the globe with the transportation you provide each day. You know, it's exciting of the opportunities that you have there. And you mentioned some of the programs that you have in conjunction with the St. Louis Community College Workforce Solutions. I would say to any student, if you're interested in working on Boeing's production, either the F-15, the 777X, or any other, there is a pre-employment training program out of St. Louis Community College, and it doesn't matter where you are from around the state. If you're willing to go to St. Louis and get involved with this pre-employment program, you can be on the line helping to keep Boeing in flight, our armed services protected, and us traveling the globe as we can. Now, to highlight a special program that Boeing and the Missouri Chamber started over 3 years ago that has some great benefit for you is STEM Signing Day. We started this program to help give students recognition for their enthusiasm, their dedication, and their academic abilities in STEM. Just like we celebrate athletes each day in and day out for signing days going on to the college, we felt like we need to do the same for you. Students that want to be the next innovators, educators, and those that want to work in any of the firms that you saw today. With that, let's go ahead and see a little bit more about this wonderful program and scholarship opportunity.
Hello, My name is Donovan Dixon.
Hi, my name is Sonia Mudd.
My name is Abby Robertson.
I'm Abigail Everett.
I'm Colin Woodley.
Isabel Gillum.
Jasmine Antonio Gonzalez.
My name is Josh Gary.
Catherine Feeney. Leilani Jaros.
I'm Liza Shell.
I plan on attending Washington University in the fall, where I will be studying chemical engineering.
Biochemistry is
mechanical engineering. Biomedical engineering.
Computer science.
Aerospace or mechanical engineering.
Biochemistry to get my doctor's of pharmacy degree.
Biology on a pre-medicine track.
Chemical engineering. Dual major in biomedical and mechanical engineering.
And this year, more than any other, I see how I can change the world through STEM. By working with other doctors to create treatment plans,
specialized in emergency medicine,
provide solutions to generational problems, and aid the global society.
Pursue a career in prosthetics.
Be the forefront of new technological advances.
Push the boundaries of what is possible, improving aspects of performance, efficiency, and safety in the aerospace field.
Help someone walk for the first time.
To one day discover an innovation that could save a person's life.
STEM Signing Day 2021 is coming around the corner. And if you're interested in finding out more about this wonderful scholarship and signing day, please go to the Missouri Chamber website and get that information. We'll have it all live on November 1st as we go with our application process. Now, it is a wonderful pleasure to bring in our next manufacturer from Maryville, Missouri. If you've ever been in the woods, out in the desert, racing on a motorbike, or jumping waves in a lake, chances are you were doing this on a Kawasaki vehicle. But did you also know that Kawasaki produces some of the finest premium quality engines that can be found in many of your lawn and garden equipment that you use each weekend? So with that, we're going to showcase what Kawasaki is like up in Maryville and then hear from some of their team. With that, let's go inside Kawasaki's Maryville facility.
My name is Mike Thomas. I'm a training development administrator with Kawasaki. I started my career with them over 30 years ago. I witnessed a tremendous amount of growth over those years. When the plant opened, we had 240,000 square feet of building, 150 employees, and the capacity to produce 200,000 units a year. 13 expansions later, we have over 900,000 square feet of building. We have over 850 full-time employees. We are still continuing to grow.
I've been with KMM since 1994. My current position here is training administrator with a background of die casting. Die casting is simply the process of forcing molten aluminum under pressure into a mold cavity. We cast the aluminum main components for our engines, which consist of cylinder heads, cover case, and crankcases. Primarily we cast crankcases here at KMM. The casting process consists of the die cast machines, melting and holding furnaces, robotics, trim presses, quench tanks. Our cylinder liners are casted within our crankcases. Parts are casted, trimmed, and sent to our machining process. Our goal is to provide a safe working environment and produce high quality, repeatable castings through process control, quality assurance, and continual improvement.
In machining, we have cast and steel. We take the raw part from die casting and machine it for assembly, doing a lot of drilling, tapping, boring, milling, cleaning, getting that part ready for assembly. Some of the machines that we deal with every day are like boring machines, hones, machining centers, all CNC machining centers. Deal with lots of different programming, the engineering department. We have robotics, gantry systems, robo drills, different machines like that to do those processes. We also do batch checks, quality, and we're pulling parts 2 times a day for quality checks, and we have hourly checks and 100% checks that we do also for our product. I think one thing that sets Kawasaki apart is just the tolerance that we have to deal with. Our specifications are very tight.
I'm one of the assembly team leaders at Kawasaki. I've been with the company for 17 years. In the assembly department, we assemble many different parts using the same method of operations and same motions. When we assemble our engines, we utilize robots, strong arms, poke yoke, or process control systems. multi-spindle nut runners that run in and torque multiple bolts all at the same time. We will also rely upon the support of our team members. If we have an issue, help is just seconds away. We have an and-on system that alerts the team leaders if an area is needing assistance. We assemble, inspect, check, and verify to ensure that everything was assembled correctly. After the assembly process is complete, each engine is ran up, set to our customer spec, and confirmed that it is of superior quality. Once they leave the run-up stations, they are inspected again. The final inspector confirms, checks, and verifies that the engine is of highest quality and deserves the Kawasaki seal of approval. The packaging area will wipe the engine down, prepare it for shipment, and package it to our customers' specs.
I've been with Kawasaki for nearly 15 years. In that time, I've served in several different roles. In my current role as an HR administrator, I'm directly involved in the recruiting and hiring process. Employment opportunities abound here at KMM. We have a number of different departments with different positions for all education levels. To fill these positions, we look for dependable individuals with the ability to adapt to change and who can succeed in a fast-paced teamwork environment.
Wow, that was exciting. You got to see so many different things going on there, especially with the robotics and the auto assist for employees. Now we're going to zoom in, Mike, and the team at Kawasaki up there in Maryville, and I see they're ready to go. Mike, do you have good sound on your end?
Yes, we do.
Awesome. You're coming crystal clear. Thank you so much for joining us for Manufacturing Day 2020. It is a privilege to have Kawasaki zooming in from Maryville.
Well, it's a privilege to have you guys get a sneak peek inside of our facility. We're very excited about that. We are located up here in the northwest corner of this great state. We have multiple assembly lines here, die-cast machines, multiple machining lines. Die-cast machining runs 3 shifts, 24 hours a day. Assembly runs on first. We manufacture engines for the lawn and garden industry, anywhere from a smallest engine, which is a 13 horsepower single cylinder engine, up through a 35 horsepower V-twin. We have a large portion of the commercial market. We're expanding into the residential markets. We have 7 different engine families and do over 456 different specifications for all of our different customers. Kawasaki has pay for performance here. We are paying people depending on what their skill level is. There's a multitude of opportunities. You always think of a factory as line work, and we do have that, and that's very important to our company. However, we also have engineers, we have accountants, we have IT, a lot of software techs, a wonderful maintenance department. They're very multifaceted. They do electrical, mechanical, plumbing, structural. They work with pneumatics and hydraulics. We have machinists, we have fabricators. We have a quality control and a quality assurance department that has technicians, engineers, analysts, inspectors, and calibration specialists. So if you're interested, we have jobs available for all different education and skill levels. And
Mike, we actually got a question now about some of that stuff. And if you don't mind, we'd like to zoom in if we can. Joplin, we have some students that touched on the quality and how you keep how do you test it? So we're going to go, they're not able to zoom in, I'm seeing, but so their question is, how do you test the product that you put out there?
We have a lot of quality assurance. Every engine that we manufacture here is started and proven. They go through, they verify the quality, they verify the functionality. We have quality inspectors all through the process from the very start at die casting, where you first actually mold the parts to machining. There's quality checks that they have to do every day, every hour. Those are all documented, and we have those on file. We go through and we have a quality control department. They have parts that come from every line, and they have specialized checks with specialized equipment that they go through, and they verify that everything is within specification. But we have inspectors all the way through, and as far as that goes, everyone online is an inspector. You're looking at your work, you're looking at the work of the person in front of you. It's a team effort here. We all work together as a team to build a quality product.
So, I mean, really, everybody, it's their job to be, you know, critically analyzing what they come off the line with, checking it, making sure it's a good quality part before you move it on, and really kind of stopping the line. So, can anybody just, hey, things aren't good, I'm putting the brakes on it?
Absolutely. Every single person in the facility, if you're doing your job and you see something that you question or something that you don't feel comfortable with, you think it's out of specification, everyone has the power to stop that entire assembly line and say, hey, we need to focus on this. We need to take care of this. Quality is our number 2 goal. Number 1 is safety.
And I can see that right now. You guys have your mask on. You're all geared up. You're working through the COVID just like many of our other manufacturers. So great to hear. We actually have a class that's on and looks like their Zoom is open. And we're going to go to John Wilbur's classroom for a live Q&A with you guys.
Say hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Their question was about what you think is the most interesting part of the manufacturing process there, like in terms of like technical stuff, and also if you do any in-house CNC machining, because our students will be learning that here in our class.
Yeah, we have up towards 520 some CNC machines, anywhere from grinding to 5 to 7 axis CNC controlled machine centers. Some of the coolest things that I think in the machining department, which I have a background in with 20 years, we're getting some new machines in that are replacing some of our older machining lines. Used to have up towards 17, 18 machining processes on that. Some of our newer technology, we can do the same kind of work and almost half the cycle time with 4 machines. So the cycle time and the cycle, what it takes to machine the product is greatly increased over the years, and we're taking advantage of that technology every day.
Wow.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, guys. Good
Any
answer.
other questions, or you're good?
I think we're good.
Okay, perfect. Hey, on that, you mentioned about technology and changing the production. Have you thought about, or has it come into the conversation about adaptive printing and using metal printing to forge the parts and put them out there?
Not that I'm aware of at this point. You know, we're always open to new technology, and I'm sure we unfortunately don't have a representative here from production engineering, but I'm sure the guys are probably already looking, you know, that way. If newer technology, they're investigating and they're looking into it to see if we can apply it here at the facility.
Okay, good deal. Well, we do have another student that would like to ask a question. Anastasia, if you want to go ahead and unmute your video and your mic and ask the team from Kawasaki your question.
It is hard to do this stuff.
Yep, we can hear you. Go ahead and ask your question.
Is the stuff hard to do?
You're coming in a little bit cloudy there. Can you re-question that? Oh, I see we got in the chat box. Her question is your job hard to do?
We have different skill levels and different types of jobs. The main thing to remember is when we bring people in the facility, you have someone with you. It is not all at once. It's laid out step by step. You learn a little bit at a time, then you learn a little more, and we just keep adding. And we're right there with you the whole way. We've got assistance available. You know, we're willing to train people. That's one of the things that we specialize in.
It's one of Kawasaki's basic philosophies that, you know, we feel we can train anybody to do any job. With our work instructions, with our step-by-step processes, just like Mike was saying, you learn a little bit at a time and it's progressive. A little bit more, you get that down, you're given a little bit more. Everybody has those quality checks in place, but we feel pretty confident that we can train anybody. And you watch them work out in those areas and they make it look very easy.
Great. Good question. Good answer. We have a student that's coming in, Stacy's classroom, Stacy Blakely's classroom. We have a student here. You are live. Go ahead and ask the Team Kawasaki what your question is.
Hang on. Unmute.
You're unmuted. I can hear you there.
Take your mask off.
I was wondering,
Really loud.
is there like what type of degree is there a certain type of degree that you need to work at your facility? I'm sorry, I'm not good at this.
Sorry.
Fine.
No, it's a good question.
Like I said, we have jobs available for all different education levels. We have production engineers that have 4-year degrees. We have technicians that have some 2-year tech school. Myself personally, I have a high school education. I started off on the production floor. I've been here 31 years now. I started off on the production floor and I just worked my way up. I became a team leader. I became a supervisor, went into the training department. So, you know, yes, we have things available for every skill level, every education level. There's lots of opportunity for advancement.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So guys, you know, in your words, what's the most exciting thing about working at Kawasaki?
Well, I guess I'll take that one first anyway. Over the 31 years I've been here, the most exciting thing is how it's never the same from day one to day two. 31 years, and it seems like it changes every day. Some of them are challenging, some of them not so much, but you never get the same situation when you walk in the building of a morning. And to me, I find that exciting because it's always something new, something that's out there, something that's going to challenge us to meet the objectives of that particular day.
Our philosophy here at KMM is continual improvement. So that's something that drives us as employees, employers, and there's always something to improve. So there's never a dull moment for sure.
Some people get worried about being trapped in the same job, you know, and some people thrive at that. Others like different things. I started off in the shipping and receiving department. I did that for years. I went to the machining department, had the opportunity to go there. I did that for years. I went into robot machining. I went to the assembly department. I worked in training as I am currently, but also worked in lean process. So, you know, there's a lot of opportunity. You can do a lot of different things if that's something that you wish to do, and learn more about the company and become more valuable, not only to the company, but also to yourself.
Great. And, you know, you touched on something there. If you might kind of clarify for some of the students, you mentioned continuous improvement and lean. What is that?
Lean processing, you go in and you're looking, you're trying to find more efficient ways to do things. You're trying to find things that are more ergonomically correct and promotes the safety of your employees. Continuous improvement, you know, you can always get better. There's always things we need to be looking at. We don't want to become complacent and get left behind, especially in this industry. We have to keep moving forward, finding new technology and taking those opportunities. We're looking into robotics, a little bit of, you know, some automation out there. The computer field has just advanced so much in the last 30 years. You know, when we first started, a computer was a great big box that did just a little bit of stuff, and now look, you know, that there's more computing power in your phone than what there was in the computers that we were using 30 years ago.
Yeah, another one of our main philosophies is KPS, which is our Kawasaki production system. And it mirrors TPS from Toyota back in the 70s. So through KPS, continuous improvements is built into that whole process. So every day is a challenge for every one of us to improve every item of our job if possible. To the 1 second improvement up to the multi or hundreds of $1,000s improvement. We have all of them always structured throughout the whole facility, and it happens every day.
And that's something we try to stress to our employees. Again, you know, Mike talked about maybe even a 1 second improvement. Well, on an assembly line, if you're making 400 engines a day and your cycle time improves by 1 second, that's 400 seconds. And that's a dramatic improvement to the efficiency. And then you multiply that for a week or a month or a year, and all of a sudden you've got a substantial amount of time on your hands that we can now add extra value to the product by having that individual doing something more for that 1 second. So it is an ongoing, it never stops. There is always a way to improve. That's kind of what each one of us have said. That is a very basic philosophy here, that we can always do it a better way. And we need to strive and continue to look for that better way.
Wow, you mentioned 400 engines in a day. We had a student put through a question earlier. How long does it take to make one engine there?
Well, it varies on the product line, but we can, roughly anywhere from, we've got lines that can produce an engine in every 60 seconds to some that go up to 180 seconds. Just depending on, how complex the engine is and what line it's on, and it just depends. But
any one engine block, it's going to take maybe half an hour to 40 minutes for that block to make its all the way down the line. But what Mike is saying, we have somewhere between a 45 to a 60-second cycle time, depending on our requirements. So 60-second cycle time means on that assembly line, one engine is coming off the end of the line every 60 seconds.
Wow.
We have the capacity in assembly to produce, I think it's right around 3,500 engines a day in our overall assembly process.
One shift.
Well, we had one last question come through, and it was by one of our younger students out there. What does Kawasaki mean?
The name itself?
Yes.
Oh.
Kawasaki is just that. About 150 years ago, I believe, there was a gentleman in Japan whose name was Mr. Kawasaki. I don't know his first name. I couldn't pronounce it anyway. But he was a ship builder. And Kawasaki's first product was ships. And it has since expanded, and shoot, it'd take more time than we have to tell you everything that Kawasaki is into. But Kawasaki was a gentleman's last name.
All right. Thanks for sharing that. We got to move on to our next manufacturer, but just wanted to say thank you so much. Any parting words of wisdom to these students out there?
What do we got?
The jobs that maybe you're looking at and that you're looking for maybe don't even exist yet, as they said it in the manufacturing day. So, keep an open mind, always look forward. We're always looking for, new innovative people and new innovative processes.
There's a lot of opportunities here at KMM.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Team Kawasaki, for coming in live from Maryville and showing us the inside and inner workings and the magic that's being made up there every day. We thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll see you. We've seen some phenomenal companies throughout the course of this day. And, I'd really like to highlight a company that has been a champion for manufacturers that we all know. They're almost in every community, and the name is recognizable, and it's Walmart. There's over 100 stores in the state of Missouri that Walmart supports, but they also support the critical infrastructure for manufacturing in the state. Let's learn a little bit more about how Walmart goes across and actually connects with manufacturers through the open call. And then we'll hear from Michael Lindsay at Walmart. It's great to have Walmart as a supporting partner to Manufacturing Day 2020, and really for all that they do to enhance and elevate Missouri's manufacturers and put them into that supply chain. We have with us now Michael Lindsay, Director of Public Affairs and Government Relations for Walmart Global, and we're going to zoom you in. It looks like you're live, Michael, and welcome to Manufacturing Day 2020.
Thanks, Brian. Excited to be here. I want to say on behalf of Walmart and Sam's 40,000 Missouri associates working in 156 stores around the state, and our more than 2 million associates working in 26 countries around the world, I want to say thank you to everyone for taking the time to participate in Manufacturing Day. It's an exciting day. I know you've had some great manufacturers on to talk about careers, and we're proud to support, as you mentioned, to support manufacturing as well. We've committed to, as a company to about $250 billion in additional products made here in America by 2023. This commitment requires you, the students, and a great workforce to produce the products that we offer. Manufacturing careers sometimes just don't get the props that they should, but every day that we see the great careers and products that can be realized, and students like yourself, team players, creative, interest in science, technology, and math, and a love of tinkering tools can do to turn out products that we can finally sell on our shelves. As you just saw in the video, we just completed our annual open call yesterday. Had 850 companies compete and earn a spot to meet with our buyers and pitch their products. And even 12 of those companies are actually from Missouri. So we're excited to see how they did yesterday, those Missouri-based companies. But this could be a company that the students work for in the future. You could see the things that they make every day sold on the shores, sold on our store shelves, and reach 140 million customers in America from the products that you prepare. So it's a pretty exciting role that we play in manufacturing as the end result for the things that you make. So kids, students, talk to your parents, teachers, and friends. Start thinking about where you want to go and what you want to do in manufacturing, because we need you. The Missouri Chamber can assist you in getting there, and Walmart and Sam's are ready to start selling everything that you make. So Brian, we're excited to be a part of this, and we really appreciate the things that you do and the students' interest in manufacturing, because it's critical to this country and it's critical to Walmart. So we appreciate the time.
Michael, it's great to have your support, and really, as we heard, 12 manufacturers in Missouri participated in the open call event, but you have dozens, if not hundreds, of manufacturers in the state that help support Walmart and put their product on your store shelves.
Exactly, we do. We have hundreds of suppliers that we already buy from in Missouri. And in fact, we've run the numbers, and we support 75,000 jobs in Missouri based on the products that we buy, whether it's grown, built, or assembled here in Missouri. We sell them on our shelves, and we help support jobs, and we love it. And we also have found out that the closer that you buy local, you buy within the state, you save money for our customers. So it's a win-win for all of us.
And you really support the entrepreneur spirit, don't you, at Walmart?
We do.
Where, you can come up with an idea, create that idea, turn it into a product, and then who knows where it'll go.
That's exactly right. And that we open that every day, and we've got ways for companies that if they've just come up with a brand new product that they want to get out there in the world and they think it's a great product, we have ways to get that done, and open call is just one of those ways. It's a way that we want to bring manufacturing back from overseas, bring it back to the United States. And so anybody out there that wants to start their company, we welcome that and we want to support that.
Well, we are excited about Walmart and the open call that you did, and we look forward to showcasing those 12, hopefully 12 manufacturers that get into the supply chain there. We have a question that's coming through, and I don't know if you'd like to take a second to answer it. How do you know what new products to invest in and place in your stores?
That's a great question. It's probably the first question that our buyers have to ask. And so we have a buying group, and so they are experts in their product categories. So take, for example, toys. We have a team that all they do are look and research and determine trends for what the kids are going to want to buy next Christmas. And they go out and find the people that sell those products, and they test the products. So which would be great if you're the son or daughter of the toy buyer here at Walmart, because they get to bring home lots of toys for their kids to test. They test out the product. They determine how they feel if it's going to match with the market. And so they actually buy for Christmas a year in advance. So the toys that you see on the aisle this year at this Christmas, they actually bought and entered into contracts last year. So that gives the manufacturer a whole year to make enough to support 5,000 stores in the U.S. So it's a very delicate process the buyers have to do, but it's really about being an expert in the field, guessing what the customer is going to want to buy next year, and then making a bet on that guess about a year in advance for most product lines.
Well, we were just talking about that, wondering, if these buyers, if the manufacturers got invited to be a part of your new supply chain at Walmart. Would they have their stuff on the shelves by Christmas this year? But
That
the
would be
reality
tough.
is,
But they
it's a whole year.
It's a whole year. It's a whole year process. And a lot of these companies, if they're small, say that they have 10 or 12 people working in a manufacturing facility and they only produce X amount of product each year, we could start them out in just a few stores and then allow them to ramp up. And as they get bigger, we can expand the number of stores they're in. Typically, if it's a Missouri-based company, we'll try and put them in Missouri-based stores and let them have a shorter supply chain, and that way they can reach the market faster. But it's a great way for them to start small at Walmart and then get as big as you could ever possibly imagine.
Wow, that's great, Michael. Well, I think we're good on questions, and we're good on time, and we're good with Walmart being a supporter of Manufacturing Day. We thank you so much. You know, the reality is this is the end loop. I mean, all our manufacturers that we focused on throughout the day, they have to deliver their product that they produce day in and day out to either a retail store or another business to utilize. And so it's great to have Walmart support. And we wish you all the best with selecting those, those 12 Missouri companies to take on the next supply chain to manufacturing at Walmart. And we look forward to 2021 Manufacturing Day with Walmart as well. So,
Absolutely.
Michael, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Brian. Thanks, everyone. Have a good rest of your day.
Absolutely. Wow. We've heard through the course of this day so many wonderful stories of manufacturing in the state of Missouri. We started our day at Kohler Craft and then finished up at Kawasaki and then learning about the supply chain with Walmart, where you, as a student, find those products that are produced day in and day out, either in Missouri or elsewhere, right there in your stores, in your communities. So it is a wonderful event putting on Manufacturing Day 2020. But I want to tell you, Manufacturing Day isn't just one day. It's 365 days a year. We just choose to kick off the month of October to really celebrate manufacturing with Manufacturing Day. And throughout the course of this month, we're going to highlight the role and the contribution that manufacturers play, as well as your local communities will also be doing Manufacturing Day events. From Joplin, Missouri to St. Charles to St. Joe and everywhere else in between, there'll be virtual events, different types of keynote speakers, and other types of things that you can take advantage of and learn about manufacturing right in your own areas. So we're going to move on and kind of conclude. One thing that was hit on by a few of our speakers, from Emerson to Pfizer to our last speaker of Kawasaki, was that it's not just the production side where manufacturers shine. They also have about 3 employees for every production line worker that's out there that supports them, from sales to marketing, communications, supply chain logistics, and product development. So if you think that manufacturing is right for you, we encourage you to keep digging, keep searching, and keep learning about the different career pathways. There's a wealth of opportunities in Missouri manufacturing, and we need talented, smart, young people like you to realize the next level of dreams of manufacturers. So with that, we're going to close our tours and our day off, but I want to remind you, for the teachers and students joining us today, you can find all of our materials on the mochamber.com MFG Day website. We'll post all these videos, all the tours, starting next week, so you can access them throughout the course of the year. Now, I'd like to thank our presenting sponsor, BKD, CPA, and advisors. They've been a phenomenal partner to have in this. Our gold sponsors, Toyota Missouri and Walmart. Our silver sponsor, Nike Air Manufacturing Innovation in St. Charles State Technical College in Missouri. Our supporting sponsors, Catalent Chamber Benefit Plan, Lebanon Regional Economic Development Corp., and the St. Louis NTMA chapter, the Boeing Center for Supply Chain Logistics at Washington University, and Watlow. But today would not be possible without our Missouri Chamber team. And we have a phenomenal communication staff that put this together. A round of applause for them, as well as our supporting partners, Missouri Enterprise and the Missouri Department of Elementary Secondary Education. Thank you for helping make Manufacturing Day in virtual a success. Now, as we close out today's program, I just want you to encourage, as you look around your classroom, look around your home, and as you see things out in the world, think about the production that went into that item. And then think, How could you be the next baker and innovate? I'm Brian Krause with the Missouri Chamber of Commerce Manufacturing Alliance, signing off for Manufacturing Day 2020. Have a great day.